difference in experience level. Number 4, as you said at the open, they like his talent. A lot of mistakes on the road last week against a good defense.
Yeah, decision making is going to be key tonight. We talked about that pass rush from Temple and understanding when you have to take a sack, when you've got to throw it away. You do not want to force the football into coverage, risk turnovers against this defense from Temple. They're one of the best in the conference, if not the best.
So Memphis won the toss and they have deferred. So Temple, of course, will take the ball to start this game. Jake Elliott, the senior place kicker, a low line drive kind of kick through the end zone for a touchback, and Philip Walker and the Temple Owls offense comes out onto the field for the first time.
Yeah, Philip Walker is battle tested. This guy is a 4-year starter. He's played in a lot of big games. He's won 21 of them. It's the most of any quarterback ever at Temple. He's a really good runner. You heard Laura tell us earlier, I think he needs to run the football more in this offense for them to be more effective. And of course, Laura also talked about the interceptions. He's got to be good with his decision making. He needs to be more accurate, and I would expect this coaching staff to really try and get him into a rhythm here early in this game with some easy throws.
And he's got a tailback partner, Jahad Thomas, number 5, who played high school football with P.J. Walker. They've been together for a long time, a lot of experience in that Temple backfield. So here we go. The first play of the game, and Temple taking a lot of time. They are not usually a high-tempo offense. They'll get the play snapped, though. An option play. Walker will keep and has a nice gain. And he will, with that strong push at the end, get a first down.
And I like that game plan right out of the gate. Put him on the perimeter and give an opportunity to use his quickness to get north and south. I don't think he's the fastest quarterback in the country, certainly, but he is very athletic, and they've been missing his legs on offense this year. He's a guy that can be extremely creative. I think Temple needs more of that as the season goes on.
11 yards on that option play. Thomas now on Walker's left side. Going to throw the ball for the first time, and he completes his first pass of the game left side for a nice gain to Marshall Ellick. Well, the Temple Owls coming off one of their best years in their football history. Last year they were ranked in the top 25 for the first time in almost 3 decades. This season so far 3-2. The wins haven't been all that impressive. The Army loss was the one that shocked everybody in the season opener. Temple feels like they're a much better, different team now than they were in week 1. The Owls are ready to contend in the American. Walker's going to keep it again and gets dragged down, got hit pretty hard. He did get forward progress across that line. Donald Pennington made the tackle, but that's another Temple first down.
Yeah, this Memphis defense is going to have to do a good job of keeping their eyes on this quarterback and staying in their gaps and lanes. He's 5'11", so he can be tricky to see behind these big, tall offensive linemen. A good challenge tonight for the front 7 of Memphis.
The first down, this one is batted down, and it was Pennington who got his hands up and knocked it away. Big number 58.
Yeah, he's got some quicks out of his stance. 58 you're going to see line up right over top of the center, and it's a must rush. He knows he's not going to get to the quarterback on the short drop, so you slow down, you watch the quarterback's eyes, and try and time the jump. Nice job there by Pennington.
Memphis has got some depth along the defensive line. They will substitute. Temple, we'll see when Temple gets on defense. They use a lot of bodies. The handoff, and the carry left side running for Thomas. Was a little upset he didn't get a bigger gain there. Jahad Thomas, the senior, just like his quarterback from Elizabeth, New Jersey. And another kid who's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, I like him. He's 5'10", 188 pounds, but he runs much more physical than his size would indicate. Last year, first team all-conference running back. He's got a running mate, and Rockwell Armstead, who's going to help spell him here in this game as well. It's a good 1-2 punch running the ball for the Owls.
First third down of the game for Temple, just across midfield on the first drive of the game. Walker has time, throws, and that one was high, incomplete. There was some contact, but no penalty flag thrown. It's 4th down.
Yeah, it's an example of some of the throws that I think P.J. Walker has missed this year, and this is a throw he anticipates well. He has a receiver on an out-breaking route. You see the ball just kind of didn't come out pretty, fluttering. Nice little acting job there by Broderick Yancey, a wide receiver, but that's a throw that certainly P.J. Walker is good enough to make. Accuracy is going to have to be better as this game goes on.
Matt Rule wanted the penalty flag. I think a lot of that contact actually came after the ball was already passed. Starzyk, the punter, Anthony Miller, who does a little bit of everything for this Memphis team, standing at the Tigers' 10. The Owls get a couple first downs, forced to punt it away. Angled punt. It'll kick and roll out of bounds. The Memphis will get the ball for the first time, and their quarterback Riley Ferguson takes the field. He documented his story. It has been a circuitous route to get here to this Memphis program for number 4. Ferguson, who began his career very highly regarded coming out of high school, Matthews, North Carolina, committed to Tennessee, recruited by a lot of power programs, came to Tennessee, sat out a year, didn't fit there, sat out a year entirely from football, went to junior college, ended up here at Memphis. So this is his first real playing experience at this level. And so far, we've seen a lot of the good, some of the rust, some of the bad. A guy with a lot of arm strength, and he completes the first pass of the game for Memphis.
Yeah, we talked about that decision making. It's going to be key tonight. You got to remember, this is only his 5th game playing quarterback here at Memphis, but the upside and his physical abilities is very, very obvious when you watch him on film.
Pollard with the catch. Now they will hand the ball off on second down. Not easy to run against this Temple defense.
It's going to be very important with their pass rush that Memphis had success tonight on first and second down, trying to keep these third downs manageable.
The 11 touchdown passes and the 5 interceptions, 3 of those came last week, and that's the area that you've talked about where the decision could have been worse. He could have thrown 5, maybe 6 picks. Ferguson down the right sideline, and it is incomplete. Intended for Miller, who I think tried to make a one-handed catch, knocked away.
Yeah, there's a little bit of contact there on the outside between him and the corner, Artrell Foster, but I think that Anthony Miller is strong enough to get the second hand up. You're going to see here the right arm goes up. He's trying to get some separation, a little bit of a push-off. I think he can do a more conscious effort of getting the left arm up as well to secure that catch. You see the speed. I was able to get behind the corner there. It's going to be a strain on these Temple corners all night long.
I'm with you. Anthony Miller is a really good player. We're seeing a lot of these one-handed catches, highlight plays. He could have gotten both hands on that one, I think. A booming punt, but a chance for a return here for Thomas, and he's got to return to the 40, cutting it back midfield. There's the speed of Thomas inside the 40 and finally tackled there. A big punt, but a big return for Jahad Thomas. And there is a penalty flag down on the field. There's also a Memphis player down on the field.
Yeah, that time on the punt by Smith, it was only about 3.6 seconds of hang time. It was just way, way too low of a hang time. Kind of outkicked his coverage, and that gave Thomas the opportunity to get north quickly with the ball.
Well, let's see what the call is. It was a 58-yard punt, but a 44-yard return. Rick Lumiere is the referee here tonight.
Personal by hitting a player out of the 36 of the receiving team. 15 yards foul. First.
So a personal foul against Temple will negate at least some of that good return, but Jahad Thomas and Temple, even with the penalty, are going to have good field position when we come back. So Thomas with that kick that maybe did outkick the coverage, and Temple when we return. Field, the highest honor really that Temple gives its football players, to wear those single-digit jerseys. Jahad Thomas, who's had one for a couple of years now, with the big punt return, even though the penalty negated some of that yardage, still good field position for the Owls, who get it for the second time. And Thomas with a nice catch in the right flat. He's got that burst and a gain of 8.
This is one of the things I really like about Jahad Thomas is his receiving ability. And you're going to see him tonight not just make catches out of the backfield, but he can line up in the slot. He can line up at wide receiver and run routes and beat defenders to the ball. He's not just a ball carrier from the backfield. He's a very, very well-rounded running back.
He missed the first 2 weeks, and I think they missed him a lot. They'll get Thomas the ball once again. He got a good block, jumps over a would-be tackler, and then cuts inside for a nice gain down to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, really good block out by the right tackle, Leon Johnson, the big boy at 6'5", 320 pounds. Watch this, right there. He just kind of engulfs that defender from Memphis. That kind of opened up a big lane for Jahad Thomas to follow.
And you know what? That was Jalen Robinson, number 77, who does come in to play alongside Leon Johnson. They use a lot of extra offensive linemen on this Temple team, and he's a good player. They like him a lot. Younger guy on the offensive line. Walker, incomplete.
Seen some quick passes early. Now Temple trying to open it up and trying to really stress this Memphis secondary by pushing the football down the field.
He was trying to get the ball to number 11. Ramon DeLoach, who is an interesting player, a two-way player for Temple. He'll play offense and defense.
Yeah, he came in the game last week against SMU and actually recorded a sack as a defensive end. That's also scooped up a fumble and scored. Pretty talented guy.
Big guy, 6'4", 220, who can run. 2nd and 10. The handoff without a lot of running room to cut up field inside the 30 to the 29 from Raquel Armstead, the sophomore.
This is a Memphis defense that on 3rd down can give you some exotic looks and try and confuse the opponent's offensive line. Very seldomly do they line up the same way too often on this critical down and distance. Temple's O-line and quarterback P.J. Walker, they got to make sure they do a good job recognizing where the pressure's coming from and having a plan.
3rd and 7. Walker throws, and a perfect delivery, complete for a 1st down.
That time Memphis came with a bit of a cross dog inside, and Raquel Armstead, number 25, right here does a nice job stoning it right at the line of scrimmage, and that gave P.J. Walker time to let it loose. Great anticipation again. That time a much more accurate throw, I think hitting Bryant there on the sidelines.
Yeah, Ventel Bryant, who is another one who was out early this year, just getting back. He's their big play guy on the outside. A gain of 12 for a 1st down. A play fake, the throw short. There is Ramon DeLoach. Tried to get away from that initial tackle, couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, he's a mismatch problem because he's 6'4", 220 pounds, and he splits out wide. He's too big for DBs to cover, and he's probably too fast for linebackers to cover. And that's a great effort by the nickel, Austin Hall. He's just a little bit over 200 pounds, only a freshman, hanging on for dear life.
Temple moving the ball mostly through the air on this drive. 9 minutes to go in the 1st quarter, trying to score first against the Tigers. DeLoach on the left side now, and a penalty flag. That's going to be against the Owls.
Yeah, right guard, I think Adrian Sullivan. A little bit of a flinch.
Penalty. 2nd down.
It's those mental errors that just kill you when you're deep down in the red zone of the opponent.
Matt Rule, who's coached a lot of positions in his career, offense, defense, he's coached special teams, but in a way his specialty has become offensive line play. Spent some time in the NFL working with offensive lines. And Temple's had a good one these last few years. 2nd and 11. Walker pressured. Going to try to get to the corner. He does get positive yardage, gets shoved out of bounds.
Yeah, see, and I love that by P.J. Walker, because in the past he might throw that football away or try to force it to a receiver who's covered, but even just going and getting 4 or 5 yards, you're not necessarily getting the 1st down. If you don't convert it here on 3rd down, you're making the job so much easier on your kicker, Austin Jones. Really good decision with the football that time on a scramble by Walker.
Third down. Play clock already winding down. Walker throws middle, tipped and incomplete. He had Bryant in the back of the end zone, but it looked like Jonathan Cook who got the hand on the ball.
Yeah, Memphis has 2 safeties with phenomenal range, and Chris Morley, number 17, and number 14, Jonathan Cook. And you're right, when I was watching this live, I thought they had a touchdown in the back of the end zone, but Cook, great job extending the arm, knocking that away. That looked like a sure touchdown to Ventrell Bryant.
That was a great play. So 31-yard field goal. Austin Jones, who's got the longest active streak of main field goals going in the FBS. He's been accurate for Temple, trying to score first. Good hold, kick is up, and that streak continues. It's good. So the Owls, good punt return, use the field position to march down the field and get 3 on the board. Here in Memphis, Temple takes an early 3-0 lead.
Such a great city. The people here are wonderful in Memphis, but the food is fun. You could eat yourself into a food coma here daily.
Shorter kickoff and a returnable kick for Memphis, but nowhere to go. And the ball comes out. Temple will fall on it. So the Owls come up with the turnover on special teams. That was a little bit sloppy from the Tigers, and Temple with a 3-0 lead gets the ball inside the 10.
It was Sean Bradley that came in and forced the fumble on this. Just does a good job ripping it out with the right arm, and William Kwenku is able to jump on the football. Huge play on special teams early and a massive miscue, putting Temple right back on the doorstep. There's a handful of plays in games that coaches will reference and look back to as momentum shifters and difference makers, and that is a massive play here early for Temple on the road in a massive conference game.
And they are ball hockeying, the Temple Owls. They force a lot of fumbles. That time on special teams, you're right. No turnover is a good turnover. That one really hurts, and we'll see if Temple can take advantage. Walker had nowhere to go. Second down.
And sudden change situations for this defense that was just on the field for a drive. They get on the sideline, chance to get a little Gatorade or water. Now all of a sudden they're right back out again with their backs against the wall. This is massive, obviously, for this front right now to be physical and try and force a field goal and limit the bleeding.
Michael Edwards, number 95 for Memphis. He's been active on these first few drives for Temple. And a good play there. Sharga, the fullback. Thomas, the tailback. And Walker's under center. Back to pass on 2nd and goal. With all the time in the world, incomplete. Another tip ball. Arthur Mollett, the defensive back, got a hand on it.
Yeah, doing a nice job, and he's trying to help cover the fullback in the flat. He just does a nice job of reading the quarterback's eyes, bailing out, and saving potentially another touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. You'll see Sharga here in the flat. He kind of gets redirected, and Mollett was there, number 8. He's the guy that gets his hand on it. Now another big 3rd down here. The windows are small to throw into, and if you're P.J. Walker, if it's not there, this might be one of those times you decide to take off and try and get it yourself.
He's got 1 rushing touchdown, Walker does so far this year. 3rd and goal. Walker is going to take off. And going to try to run for it, had no chance. Great defensive stand by Memphis.
Really good speed by Sean Rupert, number 19, that was able to track down P.J. Walker. What a stand for Memphis's D. Get a big fumble on the kick return. You're backed up nearly at your 5-yard line. You force a 3 and out, another field goal try. Wow.
Austin Jones, who just made one a moment ago. It's not often that you get points and it feels like a disappointment, but I think for Temple, even if he makes this one, 23-yard attempt, it is up and good. I think Temple will be a little bit disappointed by that. The fumble inside the 10 only costs Memphis 3 points. The defense for the Tigers inside the red zone has been good. Special teams not so good, but on 3rd down, the big tackle of Philip Walker. The Temple, after the turnover, has to settle for 3. Oklahoma.
Wow, improved. How about J.T. Barrett? Kind of, no one really talking about him at the start of the year in the Heisman race, and he's played his way right back into that.
Another short kickoff. Will be taken by the Tigers. This is Pollard, who just fumbled a moment ago. Pollard outside the 25, where the Tigers offense will take over. All right, well, we've kind of set this up where we have to have a little contest, right? I mean, Gus's, Uncle Lou's, you're in Memphis. Everybody's got to have an opinion about the best fried chicken.
Yeah, it's like cheesesteaks in Philly. It's the same thing. I mean, this is a big deal.
Okay, so
I'm going with Gus's
that's
first.
Gus's. Okay. This is Uncle Lou's. Our cameraman Chris was down there getting shots of the kick returns and eating chicken at the same time, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have some Gus's myself.
Attaboy, put it in.
Thank you. Hold that. Now, how do you do play-by-play and eat chicken at the same time?
Chew and talk.
Okay.
And ID numbers. Great spice. Cooked to perfection. Tender, juicy, moist chicken.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think the chicken is like touching my mic. As I'm talking.
Memphis did us a favor. They called a timeout. Wow. Lets me take another bite. Laura, how's the chicken down on the sideline?
Oh, it's delicious. You guys caught me mid-bite there. I've got Gus's right here. As you can see, I've quite gotten into it here. It's got a little spice to it. I already ate my Uncle Lou's, and both delicious. But what's better than being on the sideline watching a football game while eating a really nice chicken wing? Delicious.
Okay. What is better than that? Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. All right, I'm going to represent Uncle Lou's.
Yeah, I'm doing it too.
Now he's got the. Both of them have the two.
It's a drier one, and they have one that's kind of saucy. You get the tanginess. There's some heat to it, no doubt about it. So we're going with a drier one here from Uncle Lou, which
I kind of like the original recipe
so
personally.
Good too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he said it was his great grandmother's recipe.
Yeah,
originally.
Well,
stood the test of time. So you can think about it.
Yeah. I might want to eat a little bit more before I make my decision.
And decide which one you.
I don't think one chicken wing's going to do it.
We do have to call the game.
Yeah, and right now good defense, especially run defense and physicality up front from Temple. Guys penetrating, getting into the backfield, making plays.
Ferguson and Miller with the defense right on top of him, so he made the catch, had nowhere to go.
Yeah, Miller is a guy certainly that Memphis is going to try and get the football to early and often, and he's got tremendous speed to take the top off the defense, but they like to throw him quick screens as well, and they line him up all over the field, trying to get the ball in his hands to make space. And the challenge for Temple, obviously, defensively, is tackling in space tonight. Massive key.
3rd and 12. Miller will come in motion. He is their big play guy. They're going to hand the ball off on 3rd and long. And Temple was ready for it. Not fooled at all.
See the pursuit and the speed backside by Hassan Reddick. We talked about in the open. Generally a pass rusher on 3rd down, though. They'll line him up at linebacker. They can put him in the middle. They can move him outside here and just speed around the corner. It's the ability to just gobble up yardage. You try to cut back. There's generally not a lot of lanes, a lot of time to do that because of his pursuit backside.
Reddick is a really good player. Memphis will punt. Fair catch signal from Jihad Thomas. Temple has the ball right around their own 25. A 50-yard punt with no return. This college football season, you can stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. From the Liberty Bowl, an historic venue here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Liberty Bowl originated, Jesse, in Philadelphia, the home of the Temple Owls. And after a few years there, they moved the game to Memphis, the traditional bowl game. They kept the name.
Wow.
So Liberty Bell, so a little Philly-Temple connection playing here in Tennessee. Thomas gets the handoff on 1st down. Gains 2 yards.
They've got a fullback in Nick Sharga at Temple who is a man. And this guy on this last play just took on a 325 nose tackle, try and make space for the running back behind him. This is him right here going mano-a-mano with this big body right in the middle. Watch this. This is not the guy you want to block, but as physical as Sharga is, taking on a much bigger player, showing his toughness, that at least gave that running play a chance.
Sharga, who last year started at linebacker and at fullback, this year has been much more just an offensive player. Another handoff trying to get behind Sharga. Thomas falls ahead for maybe 3 yards. Jannard Avery in on the tackle, number 6. When you watch the tape of Memphis, he's everywhere.
Yeah, he is. And on this down, especially 3rd down, he's an excellent blitzer. A guy that spent some time in his career here at Memphis playing defensive end. He's also extremely sudden and fast. No doubt about it, this Temple offensive line needs to know where he's lined up, ID him, because in a lot of these scenarios, he's coming. Here he is lined up right down here.
3rd and 5, and the snap was juggled. Walker now scrambling, will throw the ball away. Incomplete, a diving attempt at an interception, but incomplete. 4th down.
No, and it's a good snap. It's just one that P.J. Walker has to be able to field this. And You're going to see he hits him right in the hands. I think he just had his eyes downfield. But a good heads-up play to not make a bad situation worse. Just throw it away, punt, play D.
Another punt for Starzyk. Miller in a spot where you would think a return is a little more likely. They're going to angle the kick and try to keep that from happening. Big bounce and still rolling. That will turn into an excellent punt.
Wow.
All the way down to the 10 and inside the 10 to the 9.
Completely flipping the field.
63-yard punt. Memphis, they've got this program going, Jesse. Last year, an excellent year. The last 2 years, 19 wins. Paxton Lynch set all kinds of records. They beat Ole Miss in front of a raucous crowd here at the Liberty Bowl. First win versus a ranked team in a couple of decades. Paxton Lynch, then a first-round pick of the Broncos, already playing, and he's looked pretty impressive as a rookie. Justin Fuente, who helped rebuild the program, takes the Virginia Tech job. Mike Norvell comes here to Memphis. He is the youngest coach in FBS, was the offensive coordinator, assistant head coach at Arizona State.
We're 34 years old, but I think he realized the opportunity here at Memphis and a chance to build on the foundation that Justin Fuente had kind of set.
So, by the way, that punt, they are going to take a look, and I think what they're going to look for is, did it hit a Temple player before it started to take all those bounces? We're going to find out when we come back. So the question was, did the punt hit that Temple special teams player, Sam Franklin? And after reviewing it, yes, it did. You could see it hit Sam Franklin right in his right shin. The ball would then ricochet for another 34 yards, but that's an illegal touch. So the line of scrimmage comes all the way back to where it hit him. Jesse, that's a field position difference of 34 yards.
Wow.
So a big difference for Memphis, getting the ball back and a handoff to one of their stable of running backs. That's Dorland Dorcius, the junior, who's more of a power back.
I really like him, though, Dave. Watching him on film, he's got phenomenal feet, really good vision, and he can make a lot of people miss. I think that Dorcius is a guy that's going to have a chance to play on Sundays.
Yeah, big dude, and maybe it's unfair to call him just a power back because he does have that quickness, ability to make a tackler miss.
Memphis has a lot of guys that are going to line up in the backfield tonight with a ton of speed. Tough guys to tackle.
Not much offense for the Tigers in the first quarter. They need to get it going. Play fake. Ferguson across the middle, and a juggling attempt incomplete. Mayhew was open. Better pass, and that's a nice completion.
Well, and that's a run pass option. That's supposed to be a running play, but Ferguson looks out wide. He sees a one-on-one opportunity to Mayhew, and this is one that he's got to complete. Mayhew open on the slant. He's 6'3". Ball thrown a little bit too high and too hard to reel in.
Instead of a big gain and a first down well into Temple territory, it's 3rd and 3, only 13 total yards so far for Memphis. Little pump fake, and they'll throw it back to the right side. The pass is dropped. Dorcius had room in front, but he dropped it.
Yeah, and another self-inflicted wound by Memphis here. Memphis loves screens. They will screen you to death. And they had that set up beautifully. There was misdirection, making it look like they were throwing the wide receiver screen to the left. Temple, all their defense running that side, and if Dorcius is able to reel that in, no doubt about it, I think that was going to easily be a first down.
So one big gain negated with an inaccurate pass, and then perhaps a first down negated with a drop. Fair catch from Thomas. He'll make it around the 9-yard line. Well, Mike Norvell comes from Tempe, Arizona State, where under Todd Graham he had helped get that program back in the right direction. And a guy who is known for his offensive mind. He brought a lot of his colleagues from Tempe here to Memphis.
Yeah, he did. You take a look at this list. I mean, coordinators, special teams coordinators, coaches on both sides of the line, even the strength and conditioning coach. I like Norvell because he's kind of new school. You know, he told us yesterday that he got all the players iPads so they can study more, and virtual reality for the quarterbacks. They're kind of trying to bring a different edge in training and prepping for these games.
And I think some people around college football, wait a minute, an Arizona State coordinator hired in Memphis. It seemed like an odd fit. Nice tackle in the open field by Memphis to keep the tailback Armstead from breaking out for a longer gain. 2nd and 9. But Mike Norvell played his college ball at Central Arkansas,
yeah,
which is not too far from here. We're just across the Mississippi River from the state of Arkansas.
I think it was important, too, that Memphis wanted to continue an offensive tradition at head coach. They had Justin Fuente. And if you've watched Norvell in Arizona State the last 4 years, those are top 25 offenses year in, year out.
I think it's a good point. There's a lot of skill on this Memphis team carryover from the Fuente years. And so, hey, hire a coach who can take advantage of the players who are on this roster.
Chris Ball there, the defensive coordinator for Memphis. Talked about the different looks that they like to give, try and confuse Temple up front. See a lot of guys standing up right now. Makes it difficult to find out which guys are coming, which guys aren't.
Walker with pressure coming, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete off the hands of Broderick Yancey. That one should have been caught.
Yeah, Jannard Avery's blitzing, and he is all over P.J. Walker, rolling to his left. Walker does a great job. It's coming right here. Walker does a great job just getting this football out. And this is a very accurate throw, rolling to his left under duress, and that's just too catchable. That's one that Yancey needs to make, turn up field, move the chains. Some sloppy play early in this game on offense from both squads.
Another punt from Starzyk, and this time he stands right near the goal line. Final minute of this first quarter. Another one of those low line drive kicks, but it doesn't bounce. Miller's there to take it. And Memphis will have it right near midfield. Well, the Tigers, Memphis, this is unusual for them. In the first quarter, they've been such a fast starting team early in this season. Not here tonight.
Well, they just haven't had the ball tonight. And offensively, they've only played 9 snaps. They haven't been able to convert a first down quite yet. And obviously, the fumble on the kick return earlier really hurt them and put them in a bind. And to Temple's credit, offensively, they've been able to stay on the field, manufacture some first downs, bleed the clock.
To your point, they've only had the ball for around 3 minutes in this first quarter. From a pistol-like formation, Ferguson throws downfield into traffic, incomplete. And they get the ball to Mayhew.
You know, and a really nice job there by the defense at Temple. It was number 23, Delvin Randall, that kind of led up on the receiver. Back in the day, that's a kill shot, right? That's one of those plays you got a receiver in the air, defenseless. You're trying to take his head off. Nice job by Randall just pulling back and not risking the targeting penalty.
Now a wildcat kind of look. Sam Kraft, who's a versatile player, kept it, but just barely got past the line of scrimmage. Another tackle for Hassan Reddick.
And there's a situation now, 3rd and long. You've got to find out where's Hassan Reddick, number 9. And the pass rush coming off the edge, a guy they'll move around. They've got him lined up against Jace Neville right now, the right tackle, who really struggled with Marquise Haynes last week from Ole Miss.
They get the play snapped. Reddick trying to come around the corner. And there he is, right in the face of Ferguson. Dorcius makes the catch. Nowhere to go. 4th down.
It's a nice idea by Memphis. They had the running back off to that side to try and give help and chip. against Reddick, but Temple's defense impressive here in the first quarter.
Very much so. That is the end of the first quarter, and some frustration for Riley Ferguson and this high-flying Memphis offense. The Owls on the road in this important American Conference game take a 6-0 lead to quarter number 2. Memphis, but certainly all of our thoughts, or many of our thoughts, are directed towards the folks who are getting ready for Hurricane Matthew. I mean, it is a serious storm, and it's going to impact the college football schedule, but a whole lot more than that. First play of the second quarter, a fair catch for the Owls. Jahad Thomas inside the 15, where Temple will get the ball back. So right now that storm is headed toward that sort of central east Florida coast, and it's going to go up the Atlantic coastline through Georgia, along South Carolina, and so many other things more impacted in college football. But a lot of college football has been changed around because of it. Tulane, UCF, LSU, and Florida postponed indefinitely. Georgia, South Carolina, I know you're going to go there, Jesse. That game's been pushed back to Sunday now in Columbia. As of this moment, Florida State and Miami are going to try to play as scheduled. But a scary storm, a really powerful one. And for everybody who's sort of in that potential pathway, we hope you take extra caution, listen to the forecasters, listen to the evacuation orders, and get out of there.
Yeah, listen, football becomes secondary this weekend in those affected areas. You're absolutely right, Dave. And certainly we just wish all the families out there and people are safe. Take the necessary precautions.
And I would say this too, not just in our country, but we know a dangerous pass there. Jahad Thomas, though, caught it, turns it upfield, and gets a Temple first down. We know that the island nation of Haiti has been severely impacted. Lots of people lost their lives. Huge destruction in a country that really can't afford it. The Bahamas apparently has been severely impacted by it. So our thoughts are with all of those folks. That is a big-time storm. First down, Temple outside the 25, and I think an offensive lineman moved early.
It's the right guard again, Adrian Sullivan. It's the second time in this game he's flinched.
Ball start, number 69, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And there's really no excuse for it, Dave, because it's not that loud here tonight. And obviously when you're on the road and the crowd noise, it makes it difficult, but that's going to drive Matt Rule nuts. You talked about his proficiency coaching offensive linemen. He's certainly a guy that has his hand in that and what they do at Temple, but you got to hunker down. Big road game here in conference. You cannot afford those types of penalties.
First and 15 with an I formation. Fake it to Thomas. Pressure coming. Walker going deep with contact along the sideline, incomplete. And let's send it down to the sideline and Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, considering that this Memphis offense has struggled, the Memphis defense on the sideline trying to keep the intensity up, and defensive coordinator Chris Ball telling them, guys, we might have to win this game. We cannot let up, really encouraging them to keep up their energy level and telling them, don't back down now.
Well, Laura, I think they've held up their end of the bargain so far. They've been really good in the critical down and distances in the red zone, forcing 2 field goals. They've been excellent on third down so far tonight. I guess the question, to your point, how much longer can they keep that
up? Second down, Walker throws, and that pass is complete. Back across the original line of scrimmage and 2 yards beyond to set up third down.
And now in a situation again, they've got to be able to find ways to give P.J. Walker a clean view throwing downfield. And Memphis has been bringing Jannard Avery, number 6, from different spots. The Temple's tried to move the pocket to buy time with P.J. Walker. Go to the empty set now, trying to spread out Memphis and make it more obvious where the pressure's coming from. You got to be careful here. You stay in your rush lane, or P.J. Walker could take off on a draw, potentially hurt you running.
Avery showing pressure, then he backed off. Now he's creeping up close to the line of scrimmage. He's going to take Thomas out of the backfield. Walker throws it, and the ball pops out. I think that was a catch and then a fumble. Who's got it? Memphis says they do. They're going to sort through the pile. And at least initially, the ruling is Memphis football. Big play by the defense. Yancey had it. I thought, Jesse, it was a catch and a fumble.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was Mollett, the corner, number 8, that forces this fumble. You're going to see here the little slant up top. There it is. He's got possession. A couple football, quote-unquote, moves, and then Mollett's the one that pops it out, and it just becomes a hot potato. But this has been a very, very opportunistic Memphis defense this year. That's now their 13th takeaway on the season. They came into the game ranked 6th in the country for takeaways, and we talked about that defense needing to keep their energy. Well, that's a play right there that can change momentum. The crowd now getting back into it, and it's imperative now this Memphis offense is able to take advantage of this in Temple territory and make the Owls pay.
So the Tigers get the turnover. That's what Laura was talking about. The defense needing to give the offense a jolt. Riley Ferguson back on the field. He will keep it. Trying to fight for that line of scrimmage. Maybe got a yard.
Yeah, I think this is a thing that Riley Ferguson can do more of himself as well. They like the zone read play, and they'll try to throw the attachment out wide to a wide receiver if the quarterback doesn't hand it off. But you don't see Ferguson run as much as I think he could in this offense as well. He's a good athlete for a guy that's 6'4".
Look at those numbers there. First play from scrimmage gained 8 yards. Since then, the total yardage paltry. They will hand it off, and Kraft finds a little crease. Sam Kraft got some positive yardage there to set up 3rd down.
Yeah, they've got a lot of these sort of hybrid running back wide receiver type guys that can line up in the backfield and run the outside zone stretch plays because they have that speed. Big 3rd down here for Memphis to convert, stay on the field. They'd love to score a touchdown, obviously, after recovering that fumble.
They have a good field goal kicker, Jake Elliott, but 3rd and 5. Ferguson throws. 1st down. Mayhew with the catch.
Much better throw. Last couple times that Ferguson has targeted Mayhew, he's been high and he's missed. They're in a man-to-man situation, keeps the ball low, sticks it right onto his number. Easy catch to make.
1st and 10, and now they go quick tempo with the handoff. Sam Kraft.
The tricky thing about this Memphis offense is they play multi-tempo. They can go really, really fast at the line of scrimmage, or they can look over to the sideline and take their time. And you know, it's kind of hard to find out if you're Temple when you can sub, when you can't. Or you're, Temple's a defense that likes to make checks as well, but you've got to be focused.
Give it to Kraft again with 2 runners in the backfield. Defended well by the Owls. Another 3rd down coming up.
Another man-to-man situation you're expecting here. So where, if you're Riley Ferguson, is your best matchup? We talk about number 3, Anthony Miller. Not just one of the most dangerous receivers in the American Conference. He's been one of the most explosive receivers in the country right now in the slot, one-on-one with the corner Hairston.
And maybe Matt Rule didn't like the way that play was lining up. So the Temple head coach calls a timeout. We'll step aside ourselves. Memphis in scoring position, but down at home, 6-0. Good field goal kicker, but they'd like to not use him here. They'd like to get the ball to number 3.
Yeah, well, it's a different formation now for Memphis, and it's a different defense. They've now got 2 defenders up top trying to double cover Miller.
On 3rd and 3, Ferguson will have the ball stripped away on the turf. He's trying to get it back, and I think he did.
Wow. That was praise Martin Ogwiki coming off the edge. This is something he's done his entire career. He's phenomenal at forcing fumbles. Here he is off the right, just speed around the edge. He's able to beat the right tackle. We talked about Neville. The right tackle was beat up a lot against Ole Miss. That's the 10th forced fumble now in Martin Ogwike's career. That's most among any active player right now in college football.
I think that's incredible. I mean, he's got such a knack. That's the 10th time he's done that in his career. Nobody in college football has done it more times, and the field goal is up and no good.
And you don't see that very often from Jake Elliott, the 2-time American Conference Special Team Player of the Year.
That was just a hook, and Elliott misses. Memphis comes up with nothing.
Wow. First team All-American a year ago, and this is basically a chip shot for him. That head came up just a little bit. Oh, he can't believe it. How about that? After the turnover that Memphis was able to generate earlier in the drive, they come away with no points. This has been a very, very disappointing start for Mike Norvell's offense.
Hey, look, it's college football, right? Kickers, we know, This isn't the NFL. There is not an automatic field goal out there, but maybe Jake Elliott's about as close to automatic from that distance as you can get. He's never missed an extra point ever in his career. That was a little longer than an extra point, but that one was surprising. So Temple gets away with the turnover. P.J. Walker and the offense back on the field here at the Liberty Bowl. 6-0 Owls. Swing pass left side, that tight end DeLoach.
It's been a big part of the game plan early here for Temple. They're running the ball, and they're getting the ball out of P.J. Walker's hands and into the hands of this athletic tight end. And the nickel right now, Austin Hall, the freshman, he's got his hands full. A, trying to cover, and B, trying to bring the big man down.
Did a pretty good job of it there. It's 2nd and 8.
Comes a corner blitz at the bottom of the screen. You see how Temple slowed it down, kind of gave it away. It looked like he was creeping. Interesting to see if Memphis here backs out of that call.
Rolling right. Walker had a man. It's caught. And it is a catch inbounds by Yancey.
Wow, and that was very, very close. So they anticipated the corner blitz and rolled away from it. Here's the throw on the boundary. Yancey, who dropped the ball earlier on 3rd down. Yeah, it looks like he had that left foot in.
I think he did. The goalpost from behind might have gotten in the way. Temple gets to the line of scrimmage quickly, so there was no challenge or official stoppage for a review. 2nd down. Armstead with the carry. That play was 22 yards.
Yeah, it's a big explosive play that they needed on offense. Seen a lot of short throws, and they've had success with that, but at some point now, you know, you suck the Memphis defense closer to the line of scrimmage with these easy completions, and opportunities arise down the field. You got to be able to take advantage of them. P.J. Walker and Yancey did on that last play. Doing a good job right now with the tempo. They're getting Memphis to show where the blitzes are coming from, then giving themselves an opportunity to audible out and get into a better play.
Towel comes flying. 2nd and 10. Another completion. Left side, close to a 1st down, but Marshall Ellick stopped a little bit short.
Yeah, and that time it was Jannard Avery, the linebacker number 6. It looked like he was blitzing from the right of the formation, so they take their time, they audible and change to a quick throw on this side over here, away from where the pressure's coming from. They're just controlling the clock right now. They've been able to stay on the field, keep Ferguson and Memphis's offense on the bench. Another good example of it right there.
Jannard Avery coming on the blitz and tried to time it, came right through.
Just a 4th-year starting quarterback.
Offside, making contact with an offensive lineman, number 6. Defense. The penalty makes the line a gain. 1st down.
Yeah, and that's just P.J. Walker and just being experienced, right? 4-year starter. And that's what I love about P.J. Walker is he's just battle-tested. And he's been in the big games, right? He beat Penn State last year, played against Notre Dame last year, conference title game a year ago. The stage isn't going to be too big for him. And he's a guy we've talked about. He's had his struggles early this year, but there's just no way that you can substitute for his experience and what he brings to this offense and the calm demeanor in a big game like this.
That's important. Temple has not been great on 3rd down. They get the conversion with the penalty, 1st and 10. Almost an option style play. Walker cut it back left, got 2 yards.
Yeah, and it was Jannard Avery that was kind of all over him. He's so much speed for a middle linebacker that they have, and you just see the play differential here right now for Temple and their ability to take their time, milk the clock. Their defense is on the sidelines. They're getting air. They're going to be fully fresh when they retake the field as well. This is exactly the formula the head coach, Matt Rule, wants week in, week out for his Temple out.
Handoff, Jahad Thomas. A couple of tough yards for number 5. One thing, Avery made that penalty. He has been everywhere, though, for the Tigers. Another 3rd down coming.
You know, and it's a defense that needs to kind of dial up exotic looks. They don't have a defensive line that's a dynamic pass rushing unit that can just fire out of their stance upfield and get a lot of sacks. So they have to kind of give these odd, funky looks on third down. They got to blitz guys, try and get to the quarterback right now. It's out of necessity. You got Avery this time lined up far up at the top of the screen up here.
Play clock was all the way down to 1, and Matt Rule knew it. He was waiting to call timeout, which I think gives you a little insight into how he's thinking about this game. He wants to shorten the game, and the Owls have done a good job of that. They lead 6-0. Big third down, the Liberty Bowl getting loud. 6-0 Temple leads. They have the ball. 5:37 to go, first half. 3rd and 6 inside Memphis territory. It's a part of the field where maybe 4-down territory, maybe. We'll see. Walker brings a receiver in motion. Here comes some pressure. Walker throws kind of off his back leg. It is complete to Yancey. Stopped a good 3 yards short of the first down. Matt Rule's got a decision to make.
I think he looks like he's going to go for it. He's thinking about it. He's got a kicker, a really good kicker himself, in Austin Jones, who's made 19 in a row now. It's pretty automatic, and at that yard line, the 35-yard line, that's right about at the distance that Matt Rule, that's kind of the limit for his kicker in Austin Jones. So his defense has played extremely well tonight. Interesting to see here if he'll take the gamble.
I think he's willing to use his last timeout here. Work the clock all the way down once again. And now they will take the timeout with 1 second on the play clock. And Phil Snow, his defensive coordinator, we're having a discussion there. They'll continue that while we step aside.
It's going to be a small window. Who can win their one-on-one matchup across the board for P.J. Walker?
Going for it on 4th down. Under center, Walker. That pressure picked up initially, trying to find somewhere to go with the ball, and he finds a tight end for a first down and more. Down to the 25-yard line. That's Colin Thompson, who's usually more of a blocker. He was wide open, and Walker found him.
A little misdirection on offense from Temple here. Thompson, you're going to see him just kind of get lost there in the shuffle. He's acting like an offensive lineman, and he's able to sneak out and run the other way from the flow of the Memphis defense. A really nice play call by first-year play caller Glenn Thomas. the offensive coordinator for the Owls.
And now they convert. Now, who knows? They may get in the end zone. They may get stopped, but they can milk this clock even more. They give the ball on the left side. Thomas, the speed to the corner, got knocked forward, and I think with that collision, he gets the first down.
Yeah, he's difficult because he lines up tailback right behind the quarterback. He's offset. He lines up at receiver in the slot and outside. They throw it to him, jet sweeps, a lot of creative ways for offensive coordinator Glenn Thomas to get number 5 involved in the game plan. And right now, they've got Isaiah Wright, true freshman wide receiver, lined up at quarterback. He likes to use the Wildcat. This is another little wrinkle this offense has shown more of here in recent weeks.
So they send Walker, the quarterback, out as a wide receiver. Wright is that Wildcat quarterback. Thomas comes in motion, and they'll give it to Thomas. Trying to get to the corner, had nowhere to go, cuts it upfield though, and got a yard when it looked like he might lose 5. Good play by Jahad Thomas. And I think Jesse Temple's trying to find something here in the red zone. They've run 7 plays and gained a total of 9 yards.
Yeah, Memphis has been best tonight defensively on the critical down and distances, no doubt. And here they go. They have to do it again. But again, we're watching Temple bleed the clock, letting the game clock go down. They're using the snap count.
Those red zone numbers are ugly. Here's a little slant pattern, middle of the field, caught inside the 5. Ventel Bryant got a first down. It'll be first and goal, Owls.
And Ventel Bryant, a guy they love having back, missed 3 games with a shoulder injury. He's probably their best deep threat, but doing a nice job here in the screen game. Quick throws, get the football in the hands of your playmakers in space. Now this is more of a scenario that the Temple is accustomed to. You know, goal line type scenarios, multiple tight ends, fullbacks on the field. Run the ball down your throat.
Big number 66, Dion Dawkins, a left tackle. He's got a real chance to play in the NFL after this year is over. They got extra linemen in. They'll pitch it out right side. Armstead, touchdown. So for the first time in this game, the Owls inside the red zone get the touchdown on the board.
Really nice blocks here at the point. They have Sharga, the fullback, coming out and getting a kick out block here, and then the tight end comes in motion and gets a crack right there on 13. Beautifully executed, and the gamble on 4th down pays off for Matt Rule. That's big.
12 plays, 80 yards, took more than 7 minutes, and part of that was going for it on 4th down and converting. That drive took about as much time as Memphis has had the ball in this entire first half, and in the end it's Armstead who punched it in.
Yeah, it was really a good series. There's a throwback play to the tight end that sets it up on 4th down here by PJ Walker. This offense finished the rest up 13-0 here late in the second. Facing an Alabama defense that's already registered 17 sacks.
13-0 Owls. And the kickoff from Temple with 2:15 to go in the first half into the end zone. That'll go for a touchback, and it gives us a chance to send it to the studio in Adnan Burke. He's got some ground to make up, I guess, huh?
Yeah, apparently.
So Memphis.
Galloway's been on fire.
Yeah, Memphis, speaking of, that last Temple drive, they had the ball for 7:23. Memphis has had the ball for a total of 7:30 in the first half.
It feels like it.
Ferguson, too high, incomplete.
He just hasn't been able to get into a rhythm. When he's been missing in this game, it's been missing high. And you worry about those, especially over the middle of the field. When you start missing guys underneath high, that's where those linebackers and safeties are roaming in the middle of the field. Those turn into turnovers quickly. Riley's got to get the ball down.
Second down. Out to the right side. Good pursuit from the Temple defense. Clock will roll, a gain of a couple yards.
Hassan Reddick making the play. I mean, he's so dynamic of a player, number 7, as a pass rusher, and also a guy that they drop into coverage at times. He's just such a good player in space. He's a former walk-on cornerback. They moved him to outside linebacker, and they wanted to get faster, so they put him at defensive end. Speed's remarkable.
It really is amazing. Memphis is a team that has averaged almost 500 yards of offense a game. They have 34 yards before this play. Ferguson found his receiver. Nicely done to buy some time, and Mayhew has a Memphis first down.
Yeah, it's a pick your poison dilemma right now for Memphis up front. They're trying to double team against Hassan Reddick when he's on the left tackle, but now that leaves the right tackle Neville one-on-one, and he's struggling to hold his position. Riley Ferguson's running for his life a little bit right now.
Yeah, even those 8 yards, so tough. Nothing easy for the Tigers. Ferguson on the run again. He just throws that one away.
You have to have a plan, obviously, if you're this offensive staff in Memphis here for adjustments in the second half. How do you slow down the edge? That probably means keeping in tight ends, keeping in running backs to help block, and that's not what head coach Mike Norvell wants to do. He likes to get guys out on routes, try and create mismatch opportunities for his skill players, but the pass rush right now not going to let him do that.
Just a 3-man rush for Temple. Ferguson, middle, caught. The tackle short of the first down mark at the 45.
So they've got a kicker in Jake Elliott who has hit a 56-yarder back in 2013. So if they can get to Temple's 40-yard line, they put themselves in business for another field goal attempt here.
Yeah, they only need maybe 15 yards or so to at least have a decent shot at some points. That throw is caught with a penalty flag thrown as well by Mayhew. Now they are in field goal range for Jake Elliott, assuming the play stands.
Working against the cornerback Derek Thomas, number 21. There was some contact.
Pass interference, number 13, defense. Penalty will be declined. End of the play stands, first down.
I think he got his numbers mixed up. 13 was the safety that ran over and made the tackle. It was 21, I think, had the pass interference call. And to your point, here they are now in field goal range.
44, now the clock moves, 40 seconds to go, and they're letting the clock wind down. And now somebody moves. That was just not well done, not ready to go. You had all that time while they sorted through the penalty to get organized. You got to be ready to go under a minute. You also have the 2 timeouts. They're going to use one of those timeouts.
Yeah, it might have been a 10-second runoff.
To prevent it.
Yeah, to prevent the 10-second runoff here with less than a minute to go in the half. Try and save time.
Well, Rick Lumiere is trying to get this thing sorted out here. Fans are getting a little antsy.
False start, number 71 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. By rule, this requires a 10-second runoff, but instead, the offense will be charged with a team timeout. Please reset the game clock to 40 seconds, 4-0.
Okay, so that does save them some time. I'd still go back to the original point. I mean, they had time to get organized. There was a penalty. The officials got together, talked about it, assessed the penalty. You got to have a play called at the line of scrimmage ready to go. There's 40 seconds left in the half.
You do, and Dave, you also can't waste timeouts like that. Those are precious in these types of 2-minute drive scenarios. This is an explosive offense. We just saw in that last completion to Mayhew down the sidelines. They can dig up chunks of yardage at a time, but those timeouts are critical. Give yourselves an opportunity to not just kick a field goal here, potentially score a touchdown, try and generate some of this momentum back onto your sideline. And remember, Memphis Tigers are going to receive first in the second half. So this is a huge opportunity for Mike Norvell and his team, and just a little bit of clock mismanagement there in that scenario.
You're exactly right. After the long pass play where the penalty was declined, they took the play. They're at roughly the 30-yard line with 2 timeouts and 45 seconds to go. I mean, that's plenty of time to have chances to get in the end zone and not rely on Jake Elliott. And now 40 seconds, only 1 time left. You're backed up to around the 34-yard line. Your chances of getting that touchdown shot are reduced.
what I want to see more in this Memphis offense tonight here is getting number 3, Anthony Miller, more involved. And obviously they haven't had a lot of plays yet to run, but he's only been targeted twice. He has 1 catch for 1 yard, and he is way too explosive a player to be limited to that. I think part of that is obviously the scenarios that have happened, but I think as play callers, they need to find ways to get the ball in his hands because he's dynamic.
So 45 seconds, not 40. They went back to the 45. They corrected that timing issue. Ferguson on the move will throw it away. Second down at 15.
There's a miscue up front by the offensive line. There was a blitz coming off the right side, and the right guard and right tackle just let the blitzer literally split them. Run right between them, getting in Ferguson's face. And this is something Ferguson's seen way too much of now in the last 2 weeks. He has very seldomly had a clean pocket against Ole Miss or in the first half here tonight against Temple. This O-line's got to do a better job.
Second and long. Trying to make sure they stay in field goal range. That was dangerous, but the completion, and Kraft upfield lowers the shoulders, goes out of bounds to stop the clock with 31 seconds still to go, a little bit short of the first down.
It was critical being able to get out of bounds to just stop the clock temporarily here before setting up this 3rd and 1.
And they did. We need to clean up. The officials just butchered that ruling from a few minutes ago. Kraft got tackled right at the line, and I think forward progress gives him the first down. They're going to stop the clock and take a look at it. Memphis does have their timeout still after they kind of undid all the stuff they were trying to sort through.
Got to go here now, though. Look at this. I mean, guys aren't lined up properly, and Ferguson has to call another timeout, and he's showing you his frustration here.
Yeah, so now they do burn a timeout, and they didn't do it right away, so that cost him a few more seconds. That could be the difference between 1 extra play to the end zone. Takes away some of your option to maybe go in the middle of the field as opposed to having to worry about that clock. They have had their best drive of this first half in the 2-minute offense. 9 plays, 52 yards. 19 seconds on the clock, trying to get on the board.
Well, this is a scenario right now where you're throwing the football, and you have to be ready to run to the line of scrimmage, clock the ball, and give your field goal unit a chance to come out on the field. Whether you feel good enough about taking a shot right now, we're trying to make this a little bit more manageable, but maybe 2 offensive plays left here at most, I think, if you're Memphis, before you have to kick.
Temple trying to hold the Tigers to a field goal try. A team that averages 46 points a game. Against Bowling Green, they scored 77
That's amazing.
a few weeks ago.
Now, we're talking about Hassan Reddick right there, number 7. This pass rush is legit. Ferguson here cannot take a sack.
First down. Here comes the rush. Ferguson just barely got rid of it as he was going down.
If he gets sacked right there, the clock runs out, and that's it. I mean, that's how close that was. Well, you got 1 timeout left. They could have burned it, you're right. But, I mean, this pass rush here it's just ruthless. And there's guys stunting and twisting. And, I mean, that's really close. I'm not sure his knee maybe didn't touch the ground before he got rid of that ball.
And that would be huge if it did, because then they'd have to take that timeout and line up for a field goal, essentially. That was close. Is it down?
Yeah, right there. The shin and knee is down.
I thought he was down.
Yeah. That could make this field goal so much more difficult.
They're not looking at it. Now the throw across the middle, complete inside the 5. Sam Kraft. Now that clock will stop. 4 seconds, and Memphis will use their final timeout.
And that was a touchdown-saving tackle by Artrell Foster. A nice job by Memphis, sneaking out the running back Sam Kraft on a little angle route. There's no one in the middle of the field. That looked like that was going to be a walk-in score right here on the angle over the middle, right around the defense. Nice accurate throw, and 16 Foster, the cornerback, making a tough tackle, bringing down Kraft right before the goal line. And I think if you're Memphis now, I think you just got to kick the field goal and just get the 3 points. You get something positive out of it. You going into halftime, you're getting the ball back first here in the second half.
The 4 seconds, the thing is, if you try to even run a quick pass play to the end zone, if the ball gets tipped up in the air and takes an extra second to come down, I think you got to take the points.
I do too, and they've got a big, tall receiver in Phil Mayhew at 6'3", that's had a couple catches early in this game, and in these scenarios this year for Memphis down by the goal line, they've thrown him fade routes, but those fade routes, the ball's in the air for a long time, and that'll bleed the clock down to 0.
I do want to go back to the point. Why did they not stop and take a look whether the knee was down, whether that was a sack? I mean, that is a huge play.
Certainly the crowd right now, you're hearing some boos. They want Memphis to go for it, but I think for Mike Norvell, this is the right decision.
So Jake Elliott, who missed one from 34 yards, the normally ultra reliable kicker, right in the middle of the field. This should be just about automatic. It's basically an extra point. It's up and good. It's worth 3 points, and that will be the final play of the first half. Something positive for Memphis, Jesse, in a first half that was dominated by Temple.
Yeah, you just got to find the positives. Mike Norvell will here as they go into halftime to get the ball first back in the second half. Lots of football to be played.
Time for the Land Rover halftime report. Memphis needs to get it going, and Laura Rutledge just a few minutes ago talked to the head coach Mike Norvell.
Thanks, Coach. You get the ball to start this second half. What needs to change offensively?
Yeah, we've got to do a better job, being able to develop the running game, and we got to be able to get that established. They're able to tee off on a little bit honest with their pass rush, and so we just got to go out there and execute better. I thought we started pressing there in the second quarter, but we're able to go down and get some points, and we just got to respond and come back and play better in the second half.
How can you get Anthony Miller more involved?
Yeah, we just got to maximize our opportunities. We got to make sure we give the a quarterback time and some protection, and then let Ant go to work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Kickoff returned across the 20 to the 25 and a little bit extra from Tony Pollard. The stats, that last drive that Memphis had to get the 3 points at the end of half started to make the stats look a little bit better. Up until then, they were totally dominated by Temple.
But Dave, I think ultimately Memphis's best players on offense are not touching the football. And you heard Laura just ask about Anthony Miller. He's been targeted twice. He has 1 catch for 1 yard. He's their best wide receiver. Their best running back, Dorland Dorcius, has 1 carry so far in this game, and that has to change. Best players need the ball in their hands in big games and critical moments. I'd expect to see more of that here in the second half.
Dorcius is in the backfield. Miller's going to come in motion. They will fake it to Miller, give it to Dorcius, who goes backwards, lost a couple yards.
Yeah, this offensive line is having issues right now trying to control what's happening up front. That time a stunt by Hassan Reddick, the pass rusher up here. Watch him just slip inside, slips through the block. He has the quickness. He doesn't make the tackle necessarily, but he makes the play, and Temple able to clean up.
You pointed him out right from the start here tonight, and he has been impactful, that's for sure. They give it to Miller, and he's there to make the play.
Yeah. I mean, generally, Memphis' offense has tremendous success with these jet sweeps, getting it in the hands of Anthony Miller. But when you have an athlete like this outside, it's hard to run zone read plays that way, and it's hard to run the quick jet sweeps. He's just too athletic. One of the better defensive players in the country that I don't think anybody really knows about or talks about.
And maybe give him credit, but that's 2 plays in a row where basically he was untouched. He's trying to get to the quarterback here, and he does. He sacks Ferguson. And that was Hassan Reddick just taking over 3 plays in a row.
Well, they try to bring the running back to his side and try and give the right tackle, Neville, some help, and he just takes a very wide rush around the outside. You see that? Just swims around Dorcius. Ferguson tries to step up, and I'll tell you, Ferguson lucky he didn't lose control of that football. Last week against SMU, Reddick had 2 sacks, caused 2 fumbles on those sacks. That's why he was named Conference Defensive Player of the Week.
So this punt, after the 3 and out, taken at the 30, where Temple will have the ball. I mean, Hassan Reddick, he is really an interesting player from Camden, New Jersey. He was originally a walk-on. He was an undersized player in high school. And he came to Temple. They didn't quite know how to use him. They found out how to use him.
Yeah, well, he was a walk-on cornerback at first, and then he got moved to outside linebacker. But you can just imagine he has the ability to change direction, quick feet, got loose hips.
There's not that many guys who go from defensive back to defensive end in the course of a college career.
235 pounds, but it's becoming, I think, more and more common, to get great athletes off the edge. It certainly is that.
And you figure out how to get them a little bit stronger, find a role for them, hand off on first down for Temple. Gain of a yard. Well, there is Hassan Reddick. That's just tonight. 2.5 more tackles for loss. He got that sack.
Memphis just doesn't have an answer for him, and they're lining him up a lot over the right tackle. That's the weak spot of Memphis's O-line. They have to come up with a plan. Either start running away or rolling out away from him.
Walker throwing, complete, right at midfield, first down and more. Out of bounds, but not before the nice gain.
And you can see the natural thrower that P.J. Walker is. He just spins it. And his offensive play caller and quarterback coach, Glenn Thomas, was the Atlanta Falcons quarterback coach for 3 years. And he told us, he goes, look, I've been around Matt Ryan and a lot of guys that are natural throwers. P.J. Walker is natural himself, and he tries to encourage him and tell him that. He goes, look, I know you're 5'11", but you can naturally spin it as good as a lot of guys that play on Sunday.
So Temple on the move into Memphis territory. A pitch play to Thomas. Gain of a yard, maybe 2.
And I've been impressed with P.J. Walker in this game. At the very beginning, we talked about the turnover problem he had. 7 interceptions coming into this game. Tonight, he's already attempted 25 throws. And he's done a good job with his decision making, keeping it out of harm's way. They've been a lot of short throws, helping him get in a rhythm. He's done a great job tonight with decision making.
Second down, his offensive line has done a pretty good job. And that time he had a man open, but missed his target incomplete.
And those are the throws that he needs to make. And he obviously has to play better. He's a 4-year starter. I think coming into this year, he thought he was going to put up big numbers. He threw 3 picks week 1 against Army, kind of got behind the 8 ball. He's missed throws like this, I think, too often. I think it's really important for him. And tonight, I think he's kind of doing it, but just get that confidence and swagger back, because Temple is entering the toughest 4-game stretch of their season starting tonight. This is when they need him playing at his best.
3rd and 8. Play clock at 5. Down to 3. They get the play snapped. Pressure comes, and he hits his man left side to turn upfield for a first down and more. Inside the 30, close to the 25. Keith Kirkwood, who has opened the play prior. This time Walker hit it.
Yeah, and really, a lot of velocity on this throw from P.J. Walker. He gets it into the hands of Kirkwood very early. So Kirkwood's able to turn upfield, find out where that defender is, and make a miss. Very impressive in the pass game tonight, Phil Walker. He's definitely missed some throws, but that right there, another example of that arm talent.
20-yard completion on 3rd down and fairly long. Now into field goal range, but hoping for more. First down. They'll throw that. I think that was a backwards pass. That may well count as a running play. Thomas got back to the line of scrimmage.
And this defense put another scenario here down in the red zone. They're going to have to play big. They were great down in the red zone early in this game, but the offense has the ball first. They go 3 and out, punt it back right away. P.J. Walker's got this offense humming right now. Need to find a way to make a play here in their own end.
They are so dominating the clock in this game. Walker, that pass was tipped and almost intercepted. Should have been intercepted by Avery.
Oh, and that's the play that they needed. The true freshman defensive end, Jonathan Wilson, actually bats this ball down. Watch number 38 right here get his hand up. And it's right in the hands of Avery. And if he catches that, I think he's gone. I think that's potentially a pick 6. And that's the momentum shifting play they needed. And Avery just can't believe it.
Got to get that one. Jonathan Wilson, talented young lineman. Got the tip, as you said. 3rd and 10. Pressure comes. Thomas helps pick it up toward the end zone. Incomplete. Threw it into double coverage.
Good coverage on the play there by Lanier. Going to set up a field goal try here by Austin Jones, who's been automatic ever since midway through November last year.
He's got a nice streak going. This one will test it a little bit. Right around 43 yards. which is close to his career long. He's been an accurate kicker. He has not been a long distance kicker. Good snap, good hold. Kick is pulled and no good. The streak is over. Temple comes up with no points. Well, Memphis, in the end, they can be happy with the way that defensive stand held up, although a chance for a big play off the tip ball. Jannard Avery, who really has played well, he would like to have this one back. He was looking at Green out in front. But a couple plays later, the missed field goal. It's still 13-3 Owls.
Pocket a little longer, saying he's scrambling too early. He needs to let the pass rush develop, and he'll have more success. Guys, these two have been in constant conversation down on the sideline.
That's interesting. The true freshman giving a little advice. Riley Ferguson, who's on the move, throws across his body. Nice delivery, first down.
But I think that's natural. What happens to quarterbacks when you've been hit as often as Riley Ferguson has been these last 2 games now, you start seeing ghosts. You start thinking that there's more pressure around you than there really is, and you get your eye leveled down. Got to have soft focus around you, hard focus downfield.
On first down, the handoff straight ahead. Dorcius gets wrestled down across the 40. I say Dorcius, that's Darrell Henderson.
It's really important, no matter who's back there, that Memphis is able to run the football. You see right now Reddick on the sideline, and Memphis should think about taking advantage of that. This might be an opportunity maybe to take some shots, figuring you're going to get more time to throw.
Well, they couldn't operate offensively with him on the field. Now they fake that jet sweep. Ferguson keeps another first down to midfield.
Yeah, the jet sweep just gets so much flow from Temple's linebackers, and they see the receiver in motion, and everyone starts running this way. That opens that massive gap at the middle of the field. I talked about this. I think Ferguson's a really good athlete. He can run.
From a pistol formation, they hand the ball off. Nice spin move. The true freshman, Darrell Henderson, get some carries on this drive.
They have these hybrid running back / receiver guys that can line up in the backfield and run the zone read, but they can also slip out and hurt you running routes deep down the field. We haven't seen him get to that just yet, but I think that's coming for this offense.
Nice gain of 5 on first down. They'll give it to Henderson again, and he gets a yard, maybe 2.
That's really a matchup problem for defenses, because you get this speed in the backfield lined up one-on-one with linebackers and safeties, and that's something that Mike Norvell had at Arizona State with DJ Foster and Marion Grice. They'd love to be able to get to that tonight. The problem is you got to be able to give Riley Ferguson some time, and in a critical third down, guess who's back on the field? It's number 7, and of course lined up top. Now he's walking around here and middle linebacker.
Yeah, that's interesting. Sort of spying on Ferguson, who's going to try to take off, and Reddick was there at least to slow him down, and his teammate cleaned the play up. So whatever they asked number 7 to do, he's doing it well.
Yeah, he's just a versatile player, and in good coverage down the field. There's nowhere to Ferguson to go with the football, and number 7's just watching his eyes. He's just waiting for him to step up. When he does, that's his trigger to now play downfield. And again, he doesn't make the tackle necessarily. That's made by Jacob Martin, but number 7 makes the play.
He has been so impressive in this game. He sat out that entire drive until that third down play, came on the field and helped force the 4th down of the punt.
And keep in mind, this is an offense that was averaging 46 points a game. They found explosive plays against Ole Miss, and right now Temple's holding them to a field goal at home.
So Memphis has to give the ball up. Reddick playing a big game, 13-3 Temple. Going on, maybe left elbow, left arm. Laura Rutledge, do you have any info on Riley?
Yeah, it's definitely the left elbow bothering him more, but they had him squeeze a water bottle just to see if he could do that. He said he felt okay after that. He's just trying to stretch it out and lengthen it to see how much mobility he has in that arm, but he seems to be okay. Told the athletic training staff he was fine.
He's got a few minutes to try to get things together here. Temple has the ball. Not great field position to start this drive. In the I formation, running behind the fullback with a penalty flag thrown. Armstead. Ball came out at the end. Now they blow the whistle and rule him down.
They're going to get a hold, I think, on the left guard, Jovan Fair, the freshman.
Holding, number 70, offense. half the distance to the goal, first down.
You know, he's been impressive early this year, kind of stepping in as a first-year player at that left guard spot beside Deion Dawkins. And looking back on the fumble here, Armstead trying to fight for extra yardage. It was number 8, Mollett. Tried to kind of rip that out.
Tell you what, that ball looked like it was starting to move. But ruled down. The replay booth has been conspicuously quiet. They did blow the whistles on that play. And snap it on 1st and long. Walker takes a hit. Incomplete.
Oh. Yeah, so Jonathan Wilson, who had the tip that was almost intercepted here, the true freshman, does a nice job fighting off a double team, gets in the backfield. He's a true freshman out of Louisiana. His nickname on the team is Swamp Donkey.
He's got the look.
From Port Sulphur. Yeah, I don't even know where that is, but I'll tell you what, I don't really care because he's a pretty good player.
And Bayou, Louisiana. And they think Jonathan Wilson has a chance to be a really good player.
Me too.
Making his presence felt tonight from the end zone. Walker complete along the sideline to Yancey.
Nice job in the pocket, giving Walker an opportunity to look downfield. Yancey's made a couple nice catches here on the boundary tonight. Has it in, has that right foot down. Good completion to get a lot of that yardage back and give themselves an opportunity on 3rd down. Interesting to see here how Memphis tries to affect P.J. Walker. A lot of times, right-handed quarterbacks, you want to bring the pressure from the right side of the field and see if you can get them to roll out to their left. They almost got home earlier in the game, blitzing Jannard Avery from that right side. Let's see if Memphis decides to bring something this way.
They do bring some pressure. Walker throws incomplete. And that one sort of slipped through Jahad Thomas, who is slipping to the turf himself.
Too many drops on offense tonight for the Temple Owls. And on this drive alone, they've had 2 critical ones where difficult throws by P.J. Walker, and the receivers have to help him pay it off. And that's just not good enough. And now punting the football back to Memphis, and they're going to have good field position.
Anthony Miller hoping for a return. Alex Starzyk, the punter. That's another one of those end-over-end bouncers that's going to die right around midfield and then starts to take a Memphis bounce. So no return, but great field position for the Tigers.
These low line drive punts are dangerous for the return team because they potentially hit your own guys when it starts spinning back like that and you've got guys running downfield trying to get blocks. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, all right, time for the Aflac trivia question. Former Temple linebacker Tyler Matakevich, one of 2 players to be named All-AAC, All-American Conference First Team 3 times. Who is the other? Wow, one of 2 players in this American Conference, which doesn't have a long history, but still only 2 have been All-Conference 3 times. Tyler Matakevich, who's now playing in the NFL.
I'm going to say it's the kicker for Memphis, Elliott. I'm going to throw that out there.
Okay. There's Jesse's guess. Ferguson delivers, and it's complete. Down to the 30, so Riley Ferguson, who's been hurting, still in this game. 16 yards to Phil Mayhew.
Good pocket that time, though. The ability for him to actually not have to bail out and run.
So the 29-yard punt. Good field position. Now the exchange was botched. It's on the turf. Ferguson wrestling with the Temple defenders. Reddick says he's got it. Reddick says he has the ball. Do the officials agree?
Yeah, that was just a bad exchange on the zone read.
I mean, they're giving the ball to Memphis. Matt Rule's going, well, my guy had it. He had the football.
It was Tyler Ferguson that jumped back on this. Watch, it looks like Ferguson was going to try to pull it out. He kind of wasn't sure if he was giving it or keeping it. Interesting. I think at the very end, I think Ferguson had it going to the ground. And then Reddick ripped it out of his arms.
Ferguson downfield, incomplete, trying to hit Montiel, the tight end.
It's Ferguson, the guy that jumped right back on it right away after the bad exchange. Ball on the ground. There's Ferguson right away to jump on it. And then Reddick just kind of reaches in after they're already down and just with 2 hands right there wrestles it out. I think that was Memphis possession.
Okay, I'll go with you on that one. Tough guy play from Ferguson because he's not feeling right, and that hurts. 3rd and 12. That pressure, Reddick was right there, dumped it off. Kraft takes a big hit at the 25 and goes down.
They're trying to find ways. A late flag that just came in, but they're just trying to find ways to deal with Reddick. That time they didn't even block him. They just let him free rush and they threw it over his head outside. Big collision. Oh, ouch.
Is there a possibility that was a targeting call?
There is no foul for an illegal hit. 4th down.
They talked about it, and it's not ruled an illegal hit.
I think they're looking at whether this hit was made with the crown of the helmet.
And I think now the defender is the one who has to lead. I think Kraft himself led with the helmet. So there was helmet-to-helmet contact, but that's not the rule. The rule, the defender has to lead with that crown of the helmet, and I don't think that happened there.
Regardless, they're going to have to take a look at Jared Allwyn because he was the one I think that took the worst part of that.
For sure. 42-yard kick is up, and it is good from Jake Elliott. So Memphis, good field position. They get 3 points. Our Aflac trivia question, Matakevich, 3-time All-American Conference, and you were right, Jake Elliott of Memphis, who showed off the leg there with the field goal. It's 13-6 Owls.
Not so much tonight.
Kickoff into the end zone and through the end zone for a touchback. Well, I think the Owls, Jesse, are still in a spot where they're happy to be. Philip Walker will get the ball back.
Yeah, he's not putting up record-setting numbers tonight, but I do think he's been very efficient. I like the game plan by the coaching staff coming in. They did a good job getting him into a rhythm early. It's been a lot of short throws. He's had a good plan. He's been able to get the football out of his hands. In fact, his numbers would look better tonight if his receivers hadn't dropped. I've counted at least 4 drops tonight already. I think that his numbers would look better, but the turnover problem, that was something coming into this game we talked about, and PJ Walker's done a good job tonight with decision making. For the most part, has been very accurate. He's made some plays with his legs as well. Out there on the field right now, lined up at receiver, which generally means, there he is, Isaiah Wright in the game, the Wildcat.
The true freshman from West Hartford, Connecticut, who will take the snap, fake it to Thomas. Wright picking his way ahead. Wright, first down and more. A penalty flag is thrown behind the play, so this one could be coming back. A nice gain out of the Wildcat if it stands.
Holding, number 4 of the offense. The penalty will be 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
That's the fullback.
First down.
And Nick Sharga got way up into the second level, working out against the DB. Watch this, in the misdirection counter. He comes back the other way, works his way through, and gets a hit up on number 17, Chris Morley, and just grabs Jersey right there with that right hand. You can kind of see, and their self-inflicted wound. Speaking of tough guys, by the way, wearing single digits, that's one of the tougher dudes that certainly you'll see in the American Conference.
A Division II walk-on transfer who turned into a two-way starter at linebacker and fullback. Now concentrating on the fullback spot. Walker across the middle. Another on-the-mark delivery for another first down. This is Broderick Yancey. He's been the #1 target tonight.
Yeah, he had a drop early in the game, but he's kind of been the comfort zone, I think, for PJ Walker as the game's gone on. That wasn't an easy catch, by the way, over the middle of the field. He just sort of plucked that out of the air. He's got a lot of wiggle. He usually works in the slot. He's looked pretty good tonight.
You've talked a couple times about how Walker can zip the ball. Those throws, they got a lot of juice on them.
Yeah. Some of that sweet and spicy sauce that we've been having on this chicken.
Uncle Lou's.
Gus, too, killing it.
Don't leave Gus out. Walker on the left side, out to the 40. Some tough guy running from Walker. Austin Hall rode him out of bounds.
Yeah, and I love that because he's 5'11", 205 pounds, and he doesn't shy away. He used to wear number 11, and then they voted him one of the toughest guys on the team. As a quarterback, he made the switch to number 8. I think he proves that toughness every week he takes the field.
Sharif White, who's one of the better linebackers for Memphis, sort of hobbled off the field, so he's out for this play. They go across the middle, nice catch, and on balance across midfield for a first down, Marshall Ellick.
Now you're seeing a couple missed tackles now. You see Sharif White leaving the game. That's bad news for Memphis right now. This really is his style of game. He's a downhill player. His backup now, Curtis Akins, in the game, and see how that affects this defense.
Yeah, White is typically the guy who gets them lined up, makes the calls from that linebacker spot. First down. Walker deflected. I think that's the second time Donald Pennington has knocked one down tonight.
Yeah, and it's just smart football. Again, on a short drop, and we talk about P.J. Walker. He's getting the ball out so quickly. These D linemen know, look, I'm not going to make it home. I'm not going to get there, so I might as well just slow down, watch his eyes, get my hands up. Nice job by the senior. You're right. It's the second time tonight he's done that.
Another kid from Louisiana. .321 to go, third quarter. Temple has had the ball for more than 26 minutes in this game, so a big edge in time of possession. Walker into double coverage, incomplete. That rule wants a penalty flag intended for Yancey.
I tell you, these safeties have so much range, and Jonathan Cook, number 14, just has so much speed to get over and help break that play up. Now setting down a big third down. He's got some issues getting his cleat back on right now. He has to take the glove off to put it on. He's going to have to get lined up here pretty quick. Temple's getting to the line of scrimmage.
So, a lot going on for Jonathan Cook. He has played well. He's a good safety. I'll throw that wide receiver screen type play, and going backwards. Bryant got back to the line of scrimmage, but well short of the first down.
The defensive line did a great job pursuing this play. It started up front. Christian Johnson, number 15, was able to get back out from the pit, the line of scrimmage, and run back out and force the receiver to keep running laterally, which allowed the pursuit to come and make the stop.
Clock is stopping here. Arthur Maulet was shaken up. That was fourth down and 9, even though they're across midfield. Temple's going to punt the ball. They're going to put some time back on the clock before this Owls punt. Just a one-score game. For a huge chunk of this one, Temple has really controlled it. And you're right, it has not been clean. There have been drops, there have been mistakes, but the Owls still have been in command tonight. And yet Memphis is only down by a touchdown.
And with an offense that Memphis has, as explosive as they are, you always know they're one play away from hitting the home run.
Trying to pin the Tigers deep. Miller comes over, fair catch. That was well done by Miller. He saved perhaps some yardage. The Tigers will get the ball back. Time for us to look at tonight's college football rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. And the top 10, number 1 Alabama is going to be tested on the road, not too far from here.
Yeah, and Bama's already played some big games, USC and Ole Miss. But how about this? They go at Arkansas, then they have to go at Tennessee. They get Texas A&M at home, and then get a bye before going at LSU. It's about to get real for them.
I think those two games in the SEC really stand out. And the one in the Big Ten, look, Indiana is an improved team on defense. Tom Allen, their defensive coordinator, good young coach. But Ohio State has just been steamrolling people. That one 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. Now the Tigers, Dorsey I don't think he ever went down. Out to the 29, first down Memphis.
Yeah, you know, that's a good idea. Running away from the right tackle to the left-hand side where they get a good pin block by the tight end. They get some linemen out in front. There's the speed by Dorsey, and you're right. He never went down.
They give it to him once again. Nice cut. Back inside. Dorcius on the move. Dorland Dorcius. Can he outrun the defense? Yes. Touchdown. 71 yards.
Talk about them being one play away. And they found some success with this outside stretch play. They get 2 tight ends lined up. They pin down and block here, and they slam and bring a pull. An offensive lineman gets a kick-out block, and Dorcius, we talked about him having excellent feet and having the ability to make people miss. And then he shows off the speed going north-south.
That was impressive. Middle linebacker Jared Folks had a chance to get him close to the line, didn't get him, and then he turned on that speed for a pretty big guy. Extra point up and good. This game is tied. Well, you said it. Memphis offense looking for the big play. They got it, 13-13. After the longest run of Dorland Dorcius' career, 71 yards for a touchdown. Another touchback with the Owls getting it back. And Dorcius has a chance to catch his breath. But this Memphis defense is playing well now.
They are, and you can hear the crowd now. They're kind of getting involved. That long run by Dorcius has kind of injected some life back here at the Liberty Bowl with the fans, with their defense, with the special teams unit. Now the pressure back on P.J. Walker and Temple to have to come up with a drive themselves and generate points.
They played from ahead almost all night. They were up 13-3 at halftime. They had the nice drive going. Didn't convert it into any points. And 10 in a row scored by the Tigers. This game is tied. Walker under center with a play fake. Here comes the true freshman, Jonathan Wilson, for the big sack.
He reminds me of the old Pittsburgh Steelers footage of Kevin Green. Remember that? Remember with like the blonde hair kind of flowing? This is him right here. He's just so athletic. Speed and strength, his ability to disengage and use his hands, and he's all over P.J. Walker in the backfield. It's a guy that I think is going to be a special player here in Memphis for years to come.
He blew right by the center, Brendan McGowan, who's a fifth-year player, the true freshman. A loss of 10. Walker throws middle, tipped up and intercepted. And this time, Avery hangs on. Avery! Touchdown!
And it was the Grenada, Mississippi boys. Jannard Avery and his high school teammate Sharif White making the plays. It was Sharif White, number 30, who left the game earlier, who makes the hit on the receiver in the slot. That pops the football up. And that time, Avery, with the sure hands, able to show off the speed, getting it in. That's a bit of a force from P.J. Walker. He'd avoided those decisions in this game. Late over the middle of the field, generally bad things happen. And that run from Dorcius has just changed the entire complexion now of this game.
Man, has it ever. Extra point is good. So the two kids who've been best friends since the 8th grade, Sharif White got the ball tipped up in the air. His buddy Jannard Avery, who had a chance for a pick earlier and dropped it. This time he hung on and took it all the way to the end zone. That's their 3rd interception return for a touchdown. Only Ohio State has more in college football this year. And it's amazing how dramatically this game has changed.
Yeah, you were just saying a second ago, it just felt Temple had this game in hand, offensively, defensively. Matt Rule, it just seemed like they were in control, and out came Memphis in the second half. And on offense, they were able to kind of find a spark, and they finally put the ball back in their hands of their best running back. Only had 1 carry in the first half, so they give it to him a couple times here on that drive. He pays it off, and then ill-advised throw by P.J. Walker, and there's a turnover, something this defense has done such a great job of taking the ball away all year. And all of a sudden now Memphis back with the lead and just different life now.
And I would even add in the play that was sandwiched in between those two. So you have the long run, then you kick off. First play, the big sack by Wilson, the true freshman. Then the forced pass, the interception return for the touchdown. And the Tigers now have a lead. Jake Elliott is starting to feel it, kicking the ball off. He almost kicked it through the uprights. Now, you talked about pressure on Walker and the Temple offense, now having to play from behind.
Yeah, and now, you know, what's his headspace, right? We talked about him needing to be confident, needing to get his swagger back. He throws yet another pick. That's his 8th on the year. That's as many as he threw all of last season. How does the 4th-year starting quarterback respond to that? You see Matt Rule talking to his offense. I would expect P.J. Walker to turn the page. I think you're going to learn a lot about this quarterback here on this possession.
Still a long way to go in this game. 1:17 left in the 3rd quarter. But the Tigers are roaring here in these last few minutes. With the play clock winding down, trying to even just get lined up. They bring that tight end to the left side. Thomas got a yard. Temple's 3-2 turnovers have been a big part of the story when they've lost games, and not to put it all, it's not always been on the quarterback, but the interceptions have piled up in those losses.
Yeah, and listen, in fairness to him, they lost 4 of their top 5 targets from a year ago, so I think that P.J. Walker's been trying to establish chemistry with some less experienced receivers, but he has missed throws, he's made some bad decisions trying to force the big play. He's got to be spot on.
2nd and 9, play fake, that throw across the middle and caught. Another good catch from Broderick Yancey for a big Temple first down to give him some breathing room and maybe help settle in a little bit.
And that was a gutsy throw because he goes right back over the middle of the field to the same guy that he just threw the interception to when he was trying to target him on that last play, and a lot of mustard on that throw. I think you like to see that, right? You don't get gun shy. If you're P.J. Walker, you let it rip, you let it fly, you trust in your reads and the scheme. You've seen it before. It's a nice response from Temple's Q.
Even now playing from behind, Matt Rule is happy to let these final seconds tick off the clock and go to the 4th quarter. But what a 3rd quarter for Memphis. Down 13-3, and they were just sort of shut down in the first half by these Owls. 3rd quarter, totally different story. Missed interception chance from Jannard Avery. He would get a second opportunity after the long running play from Dorland Dorcius. The sack, and then Avery, redemption. This time held on for the pick 6, 20-13 Memphis. Inside the Liberty Bowl, where the Tigers have come to life, outscoring Temple 17-0 in the 3rd quarter. Take a touchdown lead into quarter number 4. The Owls, though, 1st and 10. They've got the ball at their own 41-yard line. Thomas comes into the backfield. They give it to him, and I think they were trying to set up some sort of trick play. Thomas, in the end, maybe did well just to get a couple yards.
No, you're right. They were trying to set up a reverse back to P.J. Walker. He's their quarterback, that time lined up at wide receiver, and they were trying to sneak the tight end out on a deep crossing route. But because of the pressure up the field by Memphis's defense, who's done an excellent job tonight, by the way, we got to give them credit. They've been great against the run. They've held the Owls to just 63 rushing yards so far.
2nd and 8. This time Walker, conventional quarterback, scrambling, throwing on the move. Nice pass, complete, first down.
He's really good throwing the ball when he's rolling to his right. That's the one thing that really stands out to me. His accuracy goes way up when he gets outside the pocket. He just has a comfort and a feel for this. Just kind of flicks the wrist. The ball takes off, and a nice catch by the running back. Remember, we talked about him being a good receiver, having good hands. That's judged by his high school teammate, Jahad Thomas.
Throwing on first down, a quick hitter left side. Yancey, another catch for him. I think that's his 8th of the night.
A lot of short throws. We've talked about that all night. It's going to be important that Temple starts to have some success running the ball, because that's going to set up some play action opportunities down the field. But Broderick Yancey, he's definitely been the go-to guy for P.J. Walker here.
8 catches, and you saw that target number. They've thrown it to him 13 times.
I've seen a lot more of Jonathan Wilson now in the game. He's made some huge plays now. He's earned himself more snaps. I agree with defensive coordinator Chris Ball. Just leave him out there.
Walker rolling right again. Now he stops, was looking downfield, throws, and it's caught inside the 15. Kirkwood came back across across the field. Walker waited for him and put it right on the money.
Well, and you see P.J. Walker's athleticism and the ability to extend the play, but the accuracy on the run. And here's Keith Kirkwood running that deep crosser. Nice job on the scramble drill. He sees his quarterback in trouble. Deep guys come short. Short guys go deep, and you work to the boundary that your quarterback is working to. Nice job, scramble drill.
That's a 30-yard reception, so Temple down to the 10, where it's 1st and goal. A touchdown and an extra point would tie it. Walker dropped the snap. And now trying to improvise. Walker goes down.
Dave, that's the second time tonight they've had an issue with the snap. The first time P.J. Walker dropped it. This time the snap was low and hard to his left leg. It was going to be a hard one to control. And again, a heads-up play, just being able to pick it up and limit the damage. But you got to be able to execute the easy stuff. And they've had a couple false starts tonight down here in the red zone. There's a mistake on the snap. You just can't have it at this area of the field.
Yeah, that's right away now in a tough spot. 2nd and goal from the 14. They lose 4 yards. They've only had 1 touchdown and 3 trips in this part of the field. This is their 4th. Play clock winding down. Walker throws left, caught. Yancey wrestled out of bounds inside the 5. Now there is a flag right around the goal line. That could be defensive holding. It's in the area where you start to think maybe.
Pass interference, number 1 of the offense.
No.
Penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot.
How about that, Bryant? Offensive pass interference.
He was to the outside, and it looked like he made contact with the cornerback before the receiver made the catch. He gets his hands right there on him before Yancey had the ball in his hands.
Wow. I don't know about that one.
That was close, but again, a self-inflicted wound. Matt Rule, you know, he disagrees with it, obviously, but I mean, you went from knocking on the door and responding, needing a response after a quick 14 points by Memphis, and now here you are, and you're kind of getting on the edge of field goal range for a kicker who's already missed tonight once.
You're right. It was 1st and goal, and they're close to being out of field goal range. They're in it, but it would not be automatic if they had to kick from here. 2nd and goal from the 29-yard line. Walker middle, caught to the 10, and tough fighting for extra yardage by Kirkwood to at least set up a manageable 3rd and goal.
Yeah, P.J. Walker is not shy, even after the interception, throwing over the middle of the field. He's made some big league throws here on this drive. Good timing on the in route, putting it on the framework of the receiver, and here you go now inside the 10-yard line.
Play of the drive.
And a one-on-one up here with some size.
Walker incomplete, threw it too high. Trying to hit his tight end Deloach in the end zone. 4th down.
Nonetheless, I think for Temple, it's a win in the sense that you're generating points. Obviously, you know, you're going to wonder, you don't have the penalties that far down. They have more shots throwing it into the end zone, but I think the good news, if you're Matt Rule, you saw the way your quarterback responded after throwing a pick 6 and kind of leads the team down on what hopefully is a scoring drive for them. Still a lot of football to go.
Austin Jones, who saw his long consecutive field goals made streak come to an end earlier in this game. This one is pushed and no good. And Matt Rule thinks that somebody illegally leapt and was looking for a penalty flag.
Yeah,
it did not come.
He was looking at Jonathan Cook, I think, number 14, who was trying to time the jump right in the middle. He didn't actually cross the line of scrimmage, though. He just kind of jumped up over his own guy. He's looking for an illegal leaping penalty. That's what it is. It's kind of the first little hop leap, and then that's what he's looking for right here.
I think he was legal there. Rule did not think so, and a chip shot missed. Temple. Another missed field goal for the Owls. They missed 2 of them which haven't been real long distance field goals, and they're down by a touchdown. Look who's in the backfield right away.
And Memphis is not helping out their right tackle. This time it's the backup right tackle, Christopher Roberson, trying to work against Hassan Reddick.
Holding number 65 of the offense. The penalty will be declined. Second down.
I think they're hoping that the jet sweep action is going to slow him down. Remember, he made the tackle on the jet sweep earlier, but he's not even looking at the jet sweep. All he's cared about is getting upfield and turning the corner. And Tyler Ferguson can't believe it. He's just on him so quickly.
4 sacks for Temple, 2 of them for Reddick. He's got 3.5 tackles for loss in this game and has been everywhere. 2nd and 17. They'll hand the ball off. That's the freshman Henderson. Henderson still on his feet. Down the sideline to midfield. And they're ruling him out of bounds behind the play. So he's going to the end zone. Everybody thinks he scored. The fireworks are going off. But they're saying out of bounds. Short of the first down. And he doesn't know it yet. The sirens are going off.
This will be a great angle right here.
Yeah, he did.
Whew, that was close.
Barely.
We talked about the speed that Memphis has, and they're always one play away from hitting that home run. And those hybrid running back / receiver guys that we keep talking about with the speed they have, and Henderson, the true freshman, showing off the wheels. There was a missed tackle for Temple that almost cost them another 6 points.
So what a huge break for the Owls. Instead of a touchdown and a long one, it's 3rd and 4. Play clock winding down, and the play clock is at 0. Now finally somebody notices that and throws a flag. And it was at 0 for I think a full second or maybe more.
Well, Temple wanted a false start call on the center, 54 Drew Kaiser. They thought he flinched the football a little bit.
There is no foul for delay of game. Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds.
Okay.
And if you watch it again really closely, it looked like Kaiser kind of just tweaked the football a little bit, which you're not allowed to do, and simulate a snap. You just kind of watch his hand on the ball here. I don't know if you're going to see it from this far away.
Well, I think he did. There was a little bit of arm flinch at least.
Like you see, both defensive tackles just immediately started pointing at him, and I think that's what forced Tyler Ferguson to not have it snap right away.
Now that play clock winding down again. Memphis tightly bunched, trying to get organized. They got to get the ball snapped, and they do. Play fake. Ferguson throws, caught, first down, and more outside the 40. Montiel, the tight end.
And it's a gutsy play call because they fake the handoff and run a bootleg back towards Hassan Reddick, and they don't even block him. It was a nice job that time of the quarterback Ferguson just getting his head around and getting the ball out of his hands quickly.
Well, that's a big one for the Tigers. Up by a touchdown, and now keeping the ball. Handoff, Dorcius across the line of scrimmage by maybe a half a yard.
It's really important now that this Temple defense plays with good eye discipline. There's a lot of misdirection that Memphis likes to use with pulling linemen and fake jet sweeps, and your eyes go in the wrong place, and all of a sudden the football gets run by you or it gets thrown over your head. Temple's done a good job for the most part tonight. That time on that last play, looked like Hassan Reddick was a little bit slow getting up.
Yeah, he was down. Now the training staff came on the field. He's trying to argue, wait a minute, I'm not hurt. I want to stay in the game. But they're going to make him come out for a play. They stopped the clock to let those trainers come out.
You know, so to me, if I'm an offensive play caller right now and I've got your best pass rusher out of the game just for a snap, this would when I'd be thinking about, hey, you know, if I want to take a shot, maybe hold on to the ball a little bit longer, this might be my best chance.
2nd and 9 from the shotgun. And not as much pressure. And a man open, Mayhew into Temple territory, down to the 41-yard line.
There was a coverage bust that time by Temple. Now he's just simply running a slant route here at the bottom of the screen. There's 2 players in position. You see one defender just runs into him and then passes him up, and there's just green grass in front of Mayhew once he makes the catch.
Chappelle Russell, the linebacker, he just got turned around.
Reddick back on the field.
On first down, a throw, left side, turning it inside. Mayhew, first down. more through the air for Memphis. They're in the field goal range now for their excellent place kicker, Jake Elliott. A 2-score lead would be a big difference. Handoff. Henderson breaks free again. This time he's not out of bounds. Touchdown.
And it's the exact same play that Dorland Dorsey has scored on in the third quarter. Down block, pull the true freshman guard, Dustin Woodard. And there's the dangerous true freshman. He's only 5'9", 175 pounds, but he's strong. He's able to break some tackles. This Temple defense just, to me, looks like they're wearing down here a little bit here in the second half.
Well, they thought they had a long touchdown. They set off all the fireworks, had to reload, march down the field, and set them off again. Henderson to the end zone. Memphis has opened this game up. Goodness. Well, Memphis has flipped right past Temple. It was 13-0 near the end of the first half. 27 unanswered for the Tigers. A touchback, and let's go downstairs to Laura.
Well, Dave, behind me, the Temple athletic training staff is working on Hassan Reddick. He's got an issue with his right hamstring. They're massaging it out, trying to make it feel a little better. They're also wrapping it up. They've wrapped it up underneath his pants, and they're trying to see if he can go, but he is in a great deal of pain over here.
And Laura, he's really impacted this game tonight, especially lining up to the right side of Memphis's offensive line. He's been a difference maker, and he's a guy right now they can't afford to lose.
I think he's been the best player on the field on both sides.
I agree.
Throw a wide receiver screen to Ellick on first down. I think he thought he had more room out in front. Number 14, Jonathan Cooks, playing a good game.
Yeah, he sure is. The tempo now has to change for Temple offensively. Earlier in this game, they were milking the clock, taking their time at the line of scrimmage, trying to get checked into the right play. P.J. Walker now needs to get these guys lined up and going. Here down 14 points.
Second down. That pass is complete right near the first down mark. Depends on where they spot him out of bounds.
Just haven't seen a lot of explosive plays for Temple tonight. We've seen a couple from Memphis in the second half, but you know, it's tough to have to go 10, 12, 14 plays to score, and unfortunately that takes up a lot of clock. Got to be able to hit a home run here at some point. Make this a one-possession game.
And they have moved the ball fairly methodically. They've had real problems when they've gotten down inside the 20. On third and short, Thomas gets the first down. Trying to stay loose for when the Temple defense has to come back on the field. You get a score here, and you need a touchdown down 14 with 7 minutes to go. But you get a touchdown here, lean on your defense to get a stop. Try to tie the game. Walker, incomplete.
Just the footsteps, right? Wide receiver running over the middle of the field, and you've got 230-pound Sharif White waiting for you. You see Sharif White down again. He was injured earlier in the second half, came back out on the field and made a big hit, which set up the pick six for his high school teammate Avery. You said it earlier, Dave. He's really one of the leaders of this defense, and he's the guy that calls the plays and gets everybody set.
So that's a big loss if he has to come out of the game. We'll step aside. Memphis up 27-13.
Yeah, hope they don't get the quarterbacks involved in that.
I hope not.
Yeah, just kind of stay away from that.
All right, we thought we were ready to go again. Would I be being too harsh?
The game clock to 6:58.
Maybe part of it's been a timing issue, but the officials have not had a smooth night tonight. Second and 10 for the Owls, down 2 touchdowns. Under 7 to go. Walker, 5-man rush, pressure comes, and he steps up. Will throw. He was behind the line. He's got his man open. Thomas, touchdown Temple. What a play. The high school buddies hook up for the long touchdown, 61 yards.
And there's the explosive play that Temple needed. They hadn't had that all game, and it starts with P.J. Walker able to buy himself some time on the corner blitz, and this defense had a bust. They completely lost Thomas out of the backfield running the seam. They kind of flooded that middle of the field with 3 different receivers, and it just split. There's the corner blitz, and Walker, great job stepping up and then keeping his focus downfield. Ever since the pick 6, I'm really impressed watching number 8. He's responded the way you expect a 4th-year starter and team leader to do.
Me too. Kick is up and good. And you can almost see in that little hop and step, as soon as he let go of the ball, he knew it was a good result. He didn't have to watch.
Those are sometimes the hardest throws to make, too. When you've got a guy as wide open as his running back, Jahad Thomas, was. Watch this. Pressure coming off the right-hand side. Hard focus down. Does a nice job protecting the football and keeping it away from the nose guard, Pennington. Just a nice throw on the run. Dangerous, dangerous running back out of the backfield is Jahad Thomas. We talked about him being a first-team all-conference selection a year ago. I think that had more to do with his running ability this year. He's made a lot of plays catching the ball as well. Just like that, Temple now back in. They've seized some of that momentum. Didn't take very much time off the clock. That was a quick score. Now a big question, is their best player on their team probably Hassan Reddick? Is he healthy and ready to go back out in the field, because they need him?
Yeah, we'll find out momentarily. Saturday, 7 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Alabama on the road, not too far from here. Fayetteville against Arkansas. That is an SEC test on the road for the Crimson Tide. That game will stream live on Watch ESPN.
A lot of playmakers at the skill positions tonight in our game. Arkansas, we're used to them being a big running team. That's kind of what Brett Bielema has kind of built them to be. But you look at Hatcher and Sprinkle and the receivers and tight ends that Austin Allen has to throw to.
They have some skill. They do.
They'll stress you.
Kickoff to the 5, and the return with a big opening to the 40, to midfield, and Pollard is going to go all the way. What an answer from Memphis. Yards for the touchdown for the freshman from right here in Memphis, and that is some history for these Tigers. Can you believe it had been almost exactly 20 years since they last returned a kickoff for a touchdown? No program in college football had gone longer without a kick return for a touchdown. At long last they have one, and the kicker got hurt on the play.
It had been 233 games. That was the longest streak, I think, in college football. You got to go back to Peyton Manning in Tennessee when they did it against him in '96, and the kicker down. But it was a short kickoff, didn't have a lot of hang time. Pollard was able to get under it quickly, turned on the speed. They set up the middle return. Have a night.
They waited 20 years for that one. 33-20. Kick return for a touchdown. The freshman Tony Pollard, 95 yards, the first one in almost 20 years for this Memphis program. A kick return for a touchdown, 33-20. And after getting the injured Temple place kicker off the field, now Jake Elliott lines up the extra point, and it's good. Well, and particularly for Pollard, who earlier in the game had fumbled a kick return inside the 10 to basically give Temple 3 points.
And there's a lot of coaching staffs, I think, that would have taken that job away from him at that point and said, you know what, the moment's too big for you. We're going to put a senior back there, someone with sure hands. But the freshman repays head coach Mike Norvell for his vote of confidence. It shows off why he was put back there in the first place. It's been a bit of a sloppy game on special teams for both of these teams. Temple's already missed 2 field goals. Remember, Elliott for Memphis had missed 1 as well. But That's a dagger for Temple, because you go down the field after throwing a pick six and you're able to kind of generate some points on 2 consecutive drives. And now the kick return, and Memphis just reseizes all the momentum.
Yeah, you're right back where you started, and that guy's going to have to go after it again. Now, the Tigers have used those big plays. Not a lot of total yards, not a ton of first downs, not a lot of time of possession. And yet Memphis has the 2-touchdown lead with 6:35 to go. One thing I will say, and you pointed it out right when it happened, P.J. Walker, he threw that pick six, which was a huge play, maybe the biggest play in this game. 8 for 10 for 152 yards and a touchdown since then. He's really thrown the ball well since that pick six. A shoe came flying off, and the return to the 15 and downstairs to Laura.
Dave, Memphis athletic training staff is telling me that it's highly unlikely Sharif White returns to this game. The line taken to the locker room after they were working on his left hamstring. But when Tony Pollard returned the kick for a touchdown, nobody cheering louder and harder than Sharif White as he headed into that locker room.
Wow. Laura, I think the big question now for this defense is up 2 scores. Do you kind of go into a bend don't break prevent mode, or do you stay aggressive the way they've been all game? Interesting to see what happens now with that one of their leaders on the field.
Well, they were pretty aggressive last time and gave up the big play. That might motivate a difference here. That pass is complete, and a broken tackle to the sidelines, out of bounds, first down Owls.
And remember, this isn't a defense that has a dynamic pass rusher per se up front. Their best pass rusher, Latarius Brady, is out with an ACL injury. They're hoping to get him back in their next game against Tulane. So if you're not blitzing, you're going to give P.J. Walker a lot of time to throw, and he's been spinning it well here these last couple series.
First down, Walker across the middle, caught by Yancey. No, it squirts out incomplete.
That's another drop, and it's a critical drop. And Yancey's really been most reliable of the targets here tonight. That's right in his hands. It's a beautiful throw, and it's going to be contested, but he's got to reel that in, bring it into the body before going to the ground. Another self-inflicted mistake by this Owls offense.
Yeah, you give Cook some credit for helping to break that up, but that ball should have been caught. 2nd and 10. Walker throws, and this one is caught. Spinning away from the tackle, staying on balance. Bryant still going. And Bryant was thinking about lateraling it. I think better not to. He still isn't down. Finally, forward progress at about the 47.
That's one of the great jersey pull tackles I think I've ever seen. Watch Jannard Avery, number 6, hold on, and I mean hold on for dear life. There's a missed tackle, 2 missed tackles in the secondary. Watch number 6 grab him right here, and he's just getting, it's like when you were a kid taking your brother, he just finally holds on, strong hands, he's able to bring him to the ground. Uh-oh. And I think that's number 6, Avery, slow to get up.
Pointing to his midsection. They already have lost one of their starting linebackers, White. Now Avery is down on the ground. So the 2 high school friends who've been best buddies basically since the 8th grade are hurting for Memphis. Well, we said it from the top, Jesse, that this is an important game on both sides. I mean, we know Houston has separated themselves. They're the powerhouse in this American Conference. We're kind of looking for that second team. Does Memphis have a chance to maybe be that team that pushes Houston for the conference title?
I think they do, because I think they have a lot of talent on this team in general. We've seen that they can be explosive on offense. They can find big plays from a variety of positions, and they've proven that they can face some adversity now early in a big conference game and fight back and win. The defense comes up with turnovers. My big question still for this team, though, is the offensive line. They've got to do a better job moving forward of protecting their quarterback, Ferguson.
1st and 10, Temple after that 18-yard game, right to the first down mark. The tight end Deloach with the catch. I think they will spot him. They're going to say first down. I thought they did.
Well, they got to go quick. They've got all 3 timeouts in their back pocket, but they got to start now cranking up the tempo. They need to score a touchdown here quickly and start managing this game to get back in.
And it is technically 2nd and short. That one will fall incomplete. Avery just missed one play and got right back out on the field.
Well, that's big. In the middle of this defense, you have your 2 leaders and experienced players. Now one's out in Sharif White. Can't afford to miss and not have Avery out there either. Inexperienced players that might not necessarily know how to get lined up or might have a coverage bust. That could be costly, obviously, in these scenarios.
Career high 404 yards for Walker. Temple makes sure they get the first down with Thomas. So they move the chains into Memphis territory. They've run a lot of plays on this side of the field with only the 20 points scored.
Ventel Bryant, number one's the deep guy. And that's really not, they haven't taken a shot downtown to him yet in this game.
The big play in the pass game last time was to the running back Thomas. Now Bryant catches along the sideline. That counts as a fairly big play.
No, it does. I mean, these corners on Memphis defense, they play what's called a bail technique, where they line up at the line of scrimmage and look like it's press man coverage, and right at the snap they turn and start running. So, you know, they give up those underneath 5 and 10 and 12-yard curls, which right now P.J. Walker is willing to take.
In the pocket, middle, knocked away, incomplete.
I thought contact was made a little bit early that time by Morley on the tight end. I thought he had his arm draped around his shoulder before that football got there. He's trying to hit the tight end Deloach over the middle of the field. I mean, he's bear hugging him. I don't know how that's not PI.
And that's the back judge has such a clear view of that. But no penalty flag. Second down. Walker scrambling, this time to his left, flag thrown. He'll complete the pass. Another flag in the defensive backfield. So that might help Temple. I think the initial call was going to be against the Owls.
The first one's definitely holding against their left guard Fair, number 7.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 70 of the offense. Holding on the defense, number 9 of the defense. The penalties will offset. The down will be replayed.
No, Fair shaking his head, but that ultimately that helps Temple, because that was going to be going backwards with the holding call, which came first. Instead, you just get to restart 2nd and 10. With 4:24 to go. Walker on the move. Throws. Incomplete. Another flag. Here comes another one.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, holding, at least holding on defense. On the scramble drill, that receiver was trying to fight free. There's Ellick working the boundary against the corner Lanier.
Pass interference. Number 12, defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So this is supposed to be a go route, but when it turns into a scramble play, you're going to see at the top of the screen here, the receiver trying to fight back. And right there, he kind of grabs him. There's contact, sort of pushes him against the helmet. Referee right there to throw the flag.
Yep. And I think, look, it impacted the play. He was going to come right back to the ball. That one is complete to the tight end, out of bounds, inside the 10.
The good news for Temple is that they haven't had to use any of their timeouts. If they could find a way here to get in the end zone with about 3.5 to go, and that's still a lot of time left with their timeouts to get one more opportunity, one more possession to at least tie it.
Swing it out right side. Thomas cuts it middle. That was a great cut. Stays on balance. End zone touchdown. What an effort, Jihad Thomas.
As this game has gone on, tackling has gotten so much sloppier on both defenses. And certainly right now, Memphis, they're down one of their leaders, one of their best tacklers in Sharif White. They could have used him on this play. It's a nice swing out to Jihad Thomas, who's been so good, especially in this fourth quarter, catching the football. 2 touchdowns now in the last 2 drives, 2 receiving scores. And that's the quick score that Temple needed quickly now. 3 timeouts. There's a lot of football to go. And if you're Memphis, offensive coordinator Chip Long, you've got to come up with a plan. You still got to generate some first downs.
Well, the kicker has changed. This is an important point here.
Aaron Boumeri.
Okay.
True freshman coming in the game, replacing one of the best kickers, certainly in the conference, in Jones, who got shaken up on that kick return touchdown.
Yeah, who didn't have a great day kicking the ball and then got hurt on top of it. But an important extra point here with 3:49 to go. Aaron Brumeri from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. Another Memphis player being helped off the field. That's Michael Edwards. Perfect. No problem whatsoever. And, you know, we mentioned those missed field goals, Jesse, where we're not putting it all on the kicker. There's been a lot that's gone right and wrong on both sides, but this would be a one-point game if these field goals go through.
Yeah, and Austin Jones, Temple's kicker, is not a guy that you expect to miss. He hit 17 in a row heading into this game. That was tied for the longest consecutive streak in the country. And you're right. You made the point earlier. 18 to 22-year-olds, right? I mean, you know, these guys aren't getting paid millions of dollars yet, and sometimes they have off nights, and they're human. And certainly, you know, he didn't plan on this kind of night coming into tonight. Didn't plan on giving up a kick return score, and you can see he's very emotional on the sidelines right now, trying to get picked up by his teammates.
Yeah, he's upset. I think probably upset with the injury, with that kickoff that you referenced, which was not a great kickoff and set up the touchdown return and the missed field goals. So now the Memphis offense has been much more productive. They haven't still been on the field all that much because of the big plays and the special teams and the defensive touchdown. So they're going to need to get a couple first downs if they want to put this game away. The up man took that kick, and that will give Memphis decent field position. Joey Magnifico, who's got a great last name, made a good play on special teams. So Memphis has the ball. We get to remind you that as of now, this game is still going off as scheduled. 8 Eastern Saturday on ABC. Florida State and Miami. We're thinking about everybody in the great state of Florida with Hurricane Matthew bearing down. Stay safe, and we hope that that game does get played. 8 Eastern on ABC.
And on the field, thinking about the weather, it could very easily come down to which team runs the ball the best. And Dalvin Cook, who's originally from Miami, seems to always play so well against the Hurricanes. He's had 5 rushing touchdowns down the last 2 games. Miami, though, hasn't given up, hasn't allowed a 100-yard rusher. They've got 3 freshman linebackers. That'll be a really good challenge for them.
It is. That's an important game on both sides. A fascinating game. Henderson, who had the big play on the ground for the touchdown, the freshman.
They're going back and running the same play that they've scored 2 touchdowns on here in the second half. And the good news for Temple, Hassan Reddick back on the field, but he doesn't look to me like he's necessarily 100%. He's gimpy a little bit. He's just trying to tough this one out.
Temple did use one of their 3 timeouts.
So it's this outside zone kind of stretch play where they get the guard pulling. This is where they've had their success. And it was Dorsius at first here outside. Nice job making someone miss in the hole and then putting on the Jets and off to the races. And then it was the true freshman Darrell Henderson on the exact same play and a similar result. And like any good coaching staff on offense, if something starts working, you just keep going back to it. And that was the very first play they just ran here on a critical drive now, trying to ice this game. The rush yards in the second half, the difference it's been. It's been an explosion. It hasn't really, you know, the big plays haven't come through the air. That's what we've seen mostly early this year from this Tigers offense. Tonight, against a good defense, a good front seven, it's been on the ground.
The Memphis coaches just raved about their running backs and the talent at that spot. Temple plays this one much better. Henderson wrestled down for no gain. Second timeout called by the Owls. Michael Dogby made the tackle. Dorsius had the long run. Kraft is a versatile guy. Henderson, Pollard returned the kickoff for a touchdown.
Yeah, just these hybrid guys, right? And all those guys you just mentioned, they can all catch the football too. It's going to be a problem for a lot of these American Conference opponents Memphis is going to face coming up, trying to find matchups for all these different bodies.
And it's a league. Last year, the American was so strong. They had so many good teams. And this year, it's a little bit more wide open with the power at the top in Houston. But I think there is the opportunity for the Tigers to sort of fill that void. USF is a talented team, South Florida.
Yeah, no, I do too. And they've got some challenges coming up. They have to go at Navy and take on the triple option offense. But really, I think late there's a critical stretch. The last 3 games, South Florida at Cincinnati And then the big one right here, getting Houston at home the week after Houston hosts Louisville. How much left will Houston have in the tank? Because that is a game that could decide the Western Division champion.
3rd and 3. They'll give it to Miller, who's been so quiet in this game, trying to get the first down, and he cannot.
Phenomenal speed that time, and I think it was number 2, Avery Williams, kind of plays that hybrid Sam linebacker nickel spot that made a great play on the perimeter, which forced the jet sweep to keep running sideways. And not just that, but out of bounds.
Now they wound the clock, and Temple ran out on the field to call a timeout. And they're going to put some time back on, saying that Temple did call it with 3:20 to go. Maybe you could dispute whether he was inbounds or out of bounds. You made the important point a few minutes ago of because they had saved all 3 of their timeouts, they get that touchdown. Now the defense comes up with the stop. I mean, 3:20. They got all the time in the world on the clock. They're not traditionally a hurry-up offense, but that's all you can ask for down by a touchdown.
And they've got a quarterback who's on fire.
He's hot.
Ever since that pick 6, he's playing. This might be the best I've ever seen him play in 4 years in a lot of big games. It's been impressive. Memphis defense has their hands full here, and they're down a leader on defense. Sharif White not in the game.
So we got some drama here at the Liberty Bowl. Memphis down early, then up bigger, looking like they were going to put the ball. That snap was bounced, and they're going to throw a penalty flag. The punter, there was contact made with the punter, and they're throwing the flag, and that could change the game. Now, it was 4th down and right around 5. So there's the 2 different
Running
levels of penalty.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty makes the line of game. First down.
And that's a first down.
So normally on these rugby style kicks, when the punter runs outside of the tackle box, he's no longer protected by that running into the kicker rule. But you watch this, he didn't really run that far outside. He was still kind of within the constraints in that zone where he had the protection.
I don't know.
It was close.
It was close.
I think he was inside still. It was a great job, scooping that ball up. It was like a shortstop and just getting this thing off. He literally only took 2 steps to his right before Martin Oguike ran into him.
Yeah, really good job by Nick Jacobs there. And that one might cost Temple a chance to win this game because they burned all their timeouts now. Special teams, the missed field goals, the kick return for a touchdown, now that penalty. That one you can understand a little bit more just because of the bounce snap and it sort of creates the chaos, but that hurts.
I think at the end of the day, Dave, you look at critical statistics that determine games and special teams and turnovers. And if you're Temple, you gave up a kick 6. On offense, you threw a pick 6. You miss a couple field goals on special teams, and that really, to me, 4 plays were kind of the difference in tonight.
Yep.
And certainly Memphis was sloppy in their own rights on special teams and offensively early. But to their credit, they were able to establish the run in the second half, stop being one-dimensional, and ultimately here at home, they did the things they needed to do to get a huge conference win.
Handoff straight ahead. Dorcius gets stopped. Now, one thing I will say, if Memphis does not get a first down, now they're going to work the clock here, take off as much as they can, run another play, work more clock. But Temple could still get the ball back with maybe 45 seconds, somewhere in that vicinity left on the clock. So the game wouldn't necessarily be over.
Well, they're going to come after the punt again.
Yep.
No doubt. If Temple said, or if Memphis has to kick again,
and Memphis did help them right there. Did you notice they took that snap with 8 seconds still left on the play clock? It would be all moot if they get a first down here. So this is it for Temple. If they want to have a shot, they got to stop them. Do a better job of taking it all the way down. Hand off. They're not going to get it. So now, I think, under a minute, but with time still for Temple to get the ball back and a chance to make another special teams effort.
And how about Hail Marys this year in college football?
Hey.
Every year in college football, right? You go back to, what was it, Central Michigan and Oklahoma State earlier in the year, and then what happened at Tennessee, Georgia this past week. If Temple can find a way to get the ball close to midfield, they've got a quarterback in P.J. Walker who's got the arm strength to get the ball downfield, and then who knows? tell you right now, for Memphis, you got to execute a long snap here, which they weren't able to do in the last one. Remember, they skipped it back to the punter. Last get off, Mike Black, our spotter, who is a phenomenal kicker from Boise State, kicked in the Arena League, which proves you got to be good. He's up here with the clock, and he told me on the last punt, it was a 2.3 second get off time. Mike Black's telling me it needs to be 2 seconds or less to get it off safely without fear of it being blocked.
Yeah, and when you bounce the snap, it's not going to be the proper time. That's
no doubt.
Well, that does loom so large, that special teams penalty, because Temple was going to have the ball with about 3:10. I think Matt Rule, I think he's still arguing about that. Is he outside the punter, outside that tackle box or not? So after the timeout, 58 seconds on the clock. Maybe this play takes 5-8 seconds, something like that. You got Jahan Thomas. You have 50 seconds, not an eternity, but with the college clock rules, time still to have an opportunity. Smith, they come after him, and there's contact, no flag this time. And it's going to bounce into the end zone, which helps. That's a touchback. 50 seconds on the clock.
And that time on the clock, he got this punt off in less than 1.7 seconds. I mean, this was quick. Catch, one step, punt, and it was still almost blocked.
Just a little contact up at the shoulder pad. So you got to get a touchdown down 34-27. Had you made those couple short-ish field goals, you wouldn't need to get into the end zone, but Temple does. Now Memphis is going to lean on their defense. Walker has had a career night passing. They rush 4. Walker pointing downfield. Now he's going to run. He's got lots of room ahead. He will get to the sideline and go out of bounds after a nice gain of about 19 yards.
Yeah, the big thing is if you're not rushing in your pass lanes and you're not containing them, and that time Memphis completely lost the left side of the line of scrimmage. P.J. Walker, heads up play. Go get positive yards. He's made a lot of plays tonight with his legs.
Yeah, you'll take that trade. Now the pressure picked up. He'll throw middle, incomplete. Receiver breaking in. Kirkwood, incomplete.
And you've still got time to throw to the middle of the field.
You do.
Because the clock's going to temporarily stop. If you get a first down, you can rush your guys up and clock it and give yourself an opportunity. So it's not like you just have to work the boundary or outside the numbers. The entire field's live right now still for P.J. Walker.
Short middle, no good. Down the field middle, you still can go there. Walker, that's short middle. Got to get to that first down mark or the sideline. How about both? Bryant, first down out of bounds. 26 seconds to go. Now into Memphis territory to the 46.
And now they're in position to throw the Hail Mary. No matter what happens, they're going to have at least a shot at throwing the ball in the end zone with an opportunity to tie.
26 seconds to go. Down by a touchdown. Temple with the ball. Walker throws, and it's intercepted. Picked off. And Memphis goes down. Chauncey Lanier will end the game with the pick.
It's the second time tonight P.J. Walker's forced the throw, and it's the second time on a forced throw he's been intercepted. It's been his Achilles heel this year. As well as he played tonight, that was a decision that he could have done without. He's got a receiver outside running a corner route in between 2 defenders. He's got a throw underneath to the sidelines. He can take for the completion and live to play another down. Instead, a phenomenal job by Lanier going up, who, by the way, is replacing a starter in Dontrell Nelson tonight, who's out with an injury. Matt Rule knows it. That was the dagger.
Temple's going to walk out of here thinking they left a lot of things on the board. Memphis is going to walk out thinking, well, we were down 13-0, totally out of this game, out of sync, out of sorts, and we got to win.
Congratulations to Memphis, because they knew how big of a game this was, and head coach Mike Norvell went back in spring and fall camp and started putting a game plan in, knowing this was going to be a short week to get ready for an opponent that blew him out of the water a year ago.
A spirited game between two good teams, but the interception ends it. And a big win for Memphis. They are 4-1, and maybe they're going to be the team in position to challenge Houston in this conference.
Yeah, lots of talent on both sides of the ball, and statement wins for them. Get back on the winning track after that loss to Ole Miss. A lot of football to go, man. Be fun to watch.
Yeah. 34-27, that's the final score. Memphis gets the win. For Laura Rutledge, for Jesse Palmer, and our entire ESPN crew, Dave Fleming saying so long here.